Yes, yes, yes. It is time. Once again, Big Sills is in the house. And I'm like a human Nostradamus. Welcome aboard. Please hit the like button. Please. All super chats go to the top. I'm like a freaking Nostradamus here, man. Yes, sir. We're going to get to all of it. By the way, that's some bullshit of a presser today with Nick Sirianni and his doorman, Nick Sirianni, the doorman, and Howard Roseman. Holy cow, is that a bullshit presser today? Not as bad as the bullshit presser up in Boston when nobody had the balls to ask a question about Russini and Mike Vrabel. Bob Lang lives in every single community that has an NFL team. Congratulations to you. You're all bought and paid for. This is why this program is truth, justice, and the Big Sills way. How you doing? This is why this is the only show where hammerheads and losers like this guy can come aboard the program and just keep posting bullshit. We don't block anybody, even losers. We do not block anybody. We give everyone an opportunity to be a scumbag or to be smart. By the way, congratulations to the Flyers. Keith Jones, Daniel Briere, way to go, dude. You punched your ticket to the NHL playoffs. About time the Flyers got back into the playoffs. Welcome aboard. If you would have told me that for a decade the Detroit Red Wings have not been in the postseason, and now that the Flyers are in, holy shit, is that a turnaround? Good for you, by the way. Yes, sir. We are going to open this bad puppy with first going down this line. On March 2nd of 2026, who did we in our first mock draft say the Philadelphia Eagles would take? And by the way, my boy Big Z, that's terrible. It's horrible. He'll be with us at 3:30. And nobody believed it. Who and what did we say with our first mock draft on March 2nd, 2026? Anybody? Who did we say? Kenyon Siddiq. Now, you've got Daniel Jeremiah, Mel Kiper, and Charles Davis from the NFL Network, all now jumping aboard the Big Sills train. By the way, it's on video. I posted it on my X account, and my first mock draft that we did on March 2nd, 2026, Big Sills, Kenyon Siddiq, tight end, Oregon. How you doing? Now, there seems to be some steam picking up for Kenyon Siddiq. Where did you hear that? Where did you hear that? Now all the experts are coming along on the Big Sills train. And why does this make sense? You need to upgrade your personnel, and the only place you can upgrade your personnel, you can at wideout. Especially if you're losing AJ. And Tucker Kraft was what? Hey, folks, ask yourself this. Hey, Kyle, anybody with any brains in here? Because there's a lot of people in here, the usuals. You see the usual idiot posts. Who was the number one focal point in the Green Bay Packer offense? Who was the number one target? Number one target in the Green Bay Packer offense. Anybody? Number one target. Who was the number one target in the Green Bay Packer offense. You got it. Tucker Kraft. Tucker Kraft is not some savant of a blocker either. Okay? Tucker Kraft is the number one target in that Green Bay offense. Well, they're going to try to improve, and this is what they've done so far. They made the wide receiver room deeper, and now they're going to make the tight end position better. And here's why. You're not going to be running a power offense any longer. You're not going to be looking for tight ends that are going to – I wouldn't sit there and say that Travis Kelce is some maniac in blocking protection for the Kansas City Chiefs offense. You're going to be more of a finesse offense like Green Bay. The same way also in Los Angeles with Sean McVay's offense. That's not a power offense that runs the ball with power offense. You got more mobile offensive linemen, and you've got more versatile receivers. From the tight end all the way across the board. That's what you're trying to create. Oh, and by the way, Sean Mannion, as I said, coached tight ends. Nick Sirianni, okay, is a wide receiver coach at heart. This is why the wide receiver room is getting deeper too. So you got two guys in the building. By the way, Josh Grizzard worked in trying to get the running backs more involved in the passing game when he was in Tampa Bay last year. Okay, they were trying to get the running game going with White and the other kid that is able to catch the ball. He's kind of a cheap man's version of Bijan Robinson in Atlanta. Okay? Now, think about this, for instance. I don't think that Sadiq is going to drop down to 23. I think you're going to have to go up and get him. And I would say Carolina's pick. Now, either Carolina or somewhere in that 13 to 17, I think he's going to go in there. So, again, I think you got to be concerned about the Rams getting him and putting him in that Sean McVay offense. Let me say this to you. If Kenyon Sadiq goes to the Rams, the Eagles were all over to getting that guy as well because they're going to run the same type of offense. Would this change if Bain falls near us also, if we could get him? Would this defense on paper be comparable to 24? It all depends on how Carter plays in 26. Carter's the key. Carter's got to play better. The reason that the defense wobbled a bit, especially against power running teams, that you got your doornails knocked off on. I mean, think about this, Kyle. The Eagle defense got beat up by a Chargers team that didn't have both their offensive tackles in. They got beat up in that game, and the Bears ran their asses over. 2 games, and then the 49ers beat them up in the playoff game. Think about that. Okay? The Chargers kicked your ass. And really in that Cowboy game, too. The Cowboys came back from 21 down, and in the second half, they ran you over. They pretty much dominated, I thought, up front on both sides of the ball in game 1, even in the opener. Hey, get this. Carter had 2 bad shoulders. I don't give a shit. Welcome to the NFL. So, to me, the tight end makes a lot of sense here. A tight end can't help the Eagles. They can't even score with the guys they have already. Have not with noodle arm Hurts. Listen, I'm going to say this to you, Texas boy. The football team is being built for another quarterback, not for that guy. He's just not good enough. He's not good enough in this offense they're going to run. I heard John and Zander a little bit today. I believe them because I don't think they can. They're not putting a Sean McVay offense in here. The guy would fall flat on his face. He has in no time, except for 1 year, shown that he can run a decent passing game. 1 year. We'll explain a little bit later. Carter had a hurt, from spitting, right? Yeah, but how do you pay a guy 35 to 40 million who is getting worse physically? No way I do that. Who are you talking about? Carter? I think you give Carter the benefit of the doubt going into 26. But I'm not giving him a contract extension right now. And I don't believe the Eagles are. Hey, by the way, I'm still waiting for that Reed Blankenship deal that all of you thought. And there's no way Jalen Carter's getting a 3-year contract extension this offseason. You're going to pay a guy, like you said, with bum shoulders and a shitty attitude, $40 million? No freaking way. Seals, you're 100% right. The defense also needs to improve, especially Jalen Carter. We lack pressure in those games. As you mentioned, Jalen Carter showed the Eagles the type of man and player that he really is. I believe that. I think Carter's going to come back and play well, Prince, the same way that I thought Jordan Davis played well. Okay? I do. Carter must show the Eagles that the hype was real. He's right. He's right. Okay? Vegas should be the target. The Cowboys drafted a guard last year to target us now. We do it. Let Steen be the swing tackle. I'm not drafting and putting Steen on the bench. That's a lateral move. I'm looking for starters, dude. I'm looking for an impact guy. The only guy that made an impact on your draft a year ago was Jahad Campbell in the first 7 games. After that, he got benched for a better player. You could say whatever you want. You had very little impact with your rookies a year ago. Very little impact. Bakuba got hurt, and Campbell lost his job when Dean was ready. Okay? Think about how crazy that is, too, that Dean beat him out. You knew in your heart you weren't going to re-sign Nakobe Dean from the very beginning of 25. And yet Campbell still got beat out. You would have thought they would have kept Campbell in because they knew they weren't re-signing Nakobe. They had no intention of re-signing Nakobe Dean. You just gave that receiver $12.5 million on a 1-year extension. I mean, come on now. You're making it sound like you didn't, it was a hard decision. They made that decision at the start of 25 that they weren't re-signing Dean. And yet, instead of making the transition and keeping Campbell in there, Vic said, no way, I'm putting a better player in. That's exactly what happened. As soon as that guy came off the IR, Campbell lost his job. Those are, by the way, you can slice it up any way you want. That's exactly what happened. That's not an opinion. That's reality. Okay? Sill's not building the team for Hurts. Interesting. They're not building this team for Hurts. You're adding a deeper wide receiver pool? Why? He has shown in his entire 5 years starting that he can't spread the ball around. In his 5 years, Bob, he has not spread the ball around in any way, shape, or form. He throws to the numbers or he throws a deep ball. Other than that, there's no screen game, there's no intermediate passing game, and they don't threaten the seams. Like I said, that's not an opinion. Those are facts. Look at his passing chart. Okay? So does that mean Andy Dalton starting? Who the hell said that you have the quarterback on your football team right now? Jalen Hurts, without a doubt, is to be given every opportunity to show he can play in this offense. He's earned that right. He's absolutely earned that right. There's nobody's saying anything different. I go 17 games with that guy, come hell or high water. Plus, you're in a position right now where guess what? You have a no trade with that dude. If this guy bombs, you're going to have to make his entire life miserable to want to be here. And you're already beginning that process with this. You're bringing everyone in that does not fit his skill set. Sills, I agree with you. I say that because the interior got manhandled. Vega would start immediately, and Steen gives immediate depth. It's a lateral move, though, dude. You're losing. And I understand. You said you agree. I get it. So you want to upgrade the right guard position that's been one of the more interchangeable pieces. The right guard is the most interchangeable piece on the offensive line. Since I've been covering you, you've had Isaac Seumalo, Cam Jurgens, Mekhi Becton, and Tyler Steen as the right guard. No other guy in that offensive line has been interchangeable more than the right guard position. They automatically change that position. To my guy, Big Sills, especially Zander, let's go Flyers. Do what chances Flyers beat Pittsburgh since you have good predictions? You're the man. I got the Flyers in 6 over the Penguins. Flyers in 6. Crosby's been in and out of the lineup. I would have preferred to trade Baun at his peak value and keep Dean. Not me. Baun's more reliable. Dean's not. Dean is not reliable, dude. Sills, I am reading that, right? I don't know how to say that guy's name, so I'm not going to hack it up. Ian Anchor out of Arizona State is high on Howie's radar. He lacks fundamentals and technique. Can Cooper help? I know who the player is, and he'll be down there at the bottom from 25 down to 32. Could be in the top of the second round. That's a guy you could get in the top of the second round. Seals, do you know that Mac Jones is a free agent after this season? Very interesting. Mac Jones could come in and run the offense they want to run, for sure. Seals, what team is going to have the best draft in the NFC East? Well, the Cowboys got quality picks, and they got multiple picks, especially in the first round. Don't go to sleep on John Harbaugh and the Giants. I don't like Joe Schoen. I think he stinks. We'll see what they do in Washington. I actually like that GM. A lot of folks don't like him. I do. The Eagles can't do a lot of movement on offense. They're tied down to massive contracts and back-end money. I mean, the only positions you can upgrade are tight end and really the running back room. Those are the only positions you can upgrade. Okay, so, yeah, on March 2nd, 2026, I posted the first mock draft I had. And now all of a sudden, everybody's all over Kenyon Sadiq. And I tied the T's and the I's in this because, one, he's a tight end coach. Second, the only place that you can improve the passing game for the quarterback is the tight end position. You don't throw to wide receiver 3. You throw some to the tight end. And if you're going to run a traditional West Coast, the tight end is instrumental in pass catching. Go back to Bill Walsh, Dwight Clark, Franks, all them guys were instrumental along with the outside. By the way, what was does anybody in here know what the big play that Jerry Rice used to score touchdowns on? It was the slant. They ran the tight ends, they threw the tight ends, and they ran the slant. That's exactly what the Walsh West Coast was. Now, McVay has evolved the West Coast. Appreciate the supers. They go to the top. Please hit the like button. The league figured his wheels out, which means he's a one-dimensional. He is. That's what happened in 23 at 20 turnovers. You pass, you lose $250 million. He's not the player they gave that money to any longer. Jalen Hurts is no longer that player. Also, by the way, Jason Cole will be with us. That ridiculous shit show in Boston yesterday or Monday. Yeah, Monday. Was pathetic. Nobody doing their job in broadcasting anymore, and nobody doing their job any longer in asking questions because they have fear in their heart. You didn't want to ask Elliot Wolf about his head football coach having an affair with the lead writer of the New York Times that covers the National Football League? You thought that wasn't a big deal? And because the Patriots have so much muscle in New England, the reporters in Boston at the Herald and the Globe agreed to that? Wow. It's just not a Philadelphia Inquirer or radio issue any longer in Philly. It's a league-wide cancer now. Nobody does their job. I'm not here for the team. I'm here for people that come here, no matter if it's one person or 70 people or 7,000. I don't care. At the end of the day, do your job, dude. Pathetic. Not one question asked. Nobody did their job. You know why? Hey, they want their key fob. Hit the like button. Appreciate you all coming aboard. Ton of content today, to say the least. I mean, do we put coaching involved in this also? I mean, he looked totally different with Kellen Moore. What do you mean he looked totally different with Kellen Moore? They took the football out of his hands. They limited him in passing attempts. Dude, he had 2,900 yards, and they won the Super Bowl. They asked the quarterback to do the least he could. 18 touchdown passes? The rags, radio stations, networks are beholden to the league and or franchise they cover. Yes. Steele's great take to media. It owes it to the fans to do their job. Rossini, Burner, Bridge. Yes. By the way, they owe it to the fans to cover the team that you love. But they don't do that. What do you think Jalen could do well right away in this offense? If he runs, a lot. If Hurts takes off, hey, I'll tell you what. If Jalen Hurts has 750 yards rushing this year, the offense is going to be very good. But he's not going to. Sills, I feel like one or two of those top 10 teams are looking to try to trade down and gain another second-round pick or first pick for next year if they need a quarterback. I think this is a draft where people want to trade down. I think there's 12 first-round picks in this draft. I think after that, I think they're all the same. From about 13 to 60, you can get the same player. Howie basically confirmed the Jalen report. Wow. Yeah, I saw that. And we're going to go over this. So here's some of the headlines out of that presser that was a little bit, dare I say, was a little bit wild in a way with some of the headlines that came out of that with Howie Roseman and the doorman, Nick Sirianni. So here are the headlines, which is wild. Howie Roseman on Jalen Hurts. If we have issues with any player, we address it directly. That's bullshit. That's bullshit. No, you don't. Holy cow. What a bunch of bullshit. Howie Roseman not answering any questions on A.J. Brown. Oh, okay. A.J.'s an Eagle. No, he's not. He's so gone, it's disgusting. Holy cow. Great headlines. Every time we have a problem with a player, we address it. That's bullshit. Oh my God, these guys are so. Hey, Howie Roseman is so full of bullshit, his eyes are green. I mean, oh, hey, by the way, did you catch it at the beginning? People wearing shorts. Howie, you're welcome. Bullshit. He addresses. If we have a problem with a player, we address it immediately. Yeah, sure you do. You guys will believe anything. You know why? Because the media that covers your Eagles, they're full of shit more than the Eagles are. Man, you're right. People that cover that football team, I have so little respect for because they don't do their job. They just don't do their job. You can say whatever I am, or you can criticize me any way you want. I don't bullshit you. I don't. You know what people who criticize us in our show, you know why? Because they can't fully do their jobs right any longer. Those are people that can't do their jobs anymore. Because they're in fear of losing their gig. Instead of doing their jobs, they'd rather criticize people like me and shows like mine or Pat McAfee or any of them other guys because they can't do their jobs. What guy in their right mind has a story and holds it 5 days and doesn't give it to his viewers or his readers? What are you, crazy? What the fuck you work for, guy? It's ridiculous. Boston Globe and Herald should be embarrassed. Should be embarrassed. Howie didn't stand up for Jalen when he could have. No, he didn't. Howie is pushing, and the Eagles are pushing Hurts out the door. I've been telling you this since March when they did all these hires, guys. These hires don't make a future for Jalen Hurts. You're not seeing it yet. You will. Everything they're doing this offseason is leading me to believe they're pushing away from Jalen Hurts. They don't want to be involved in this offense anymore. You know why? Follow their actions. Listen, I'll tell you what they're going to do this year. They are going to, without a doubt, load this team up with so many talented players. They're going to make that wide receiver room as deep as possible. They're going to draft Sadiq in the first round if they can, depending if somebody grabs him sooner. And they're going to load up, and they're going to go into 2026 and say, here it is, Jalen. And if Jalen comes through, all bets are off, and you're talking about a second contract. If he can't, he's out. There's going to be no hanging around. This decision will be made by December of 26 on the future of Jalen Hurts. You're either in or you're out, and there's no gray area. Even if the offense gets a little better and they're not winning, they're moving on from the guy. And they're going to do everything in their power to get out from under him. Okay? Either this guy turns into what Lamar Jackson did a couple of years ago when he went for 4,200 yards and 41 touchdown passes and 900 rushing, or they're going to move on. End of story. End of story. End of story. It's up. Hey, by the way, April 14th is the day the Titanic went down. April 14th is the beginning of the sinking of Jalen Hurts. How you doing? I believe it is. Hey, Kyle, will you look that up for me? Is today the day the Titanic went down? I think it is. This is the beginning of the Titanic sinking, known as the USS Hertz. Oh, my God. Sills, if that's the case for Hertz in 26, dies Drew Lar makes sense in latter rounds. Absolutely. Let's see here. Let's see. Ain't no hate. It's called reality. All right, so let's go to the other topic here. We got to look at this, man. We are just loaded, locked, and loaded today. Hit that like button. Appreciate all of you coming aboard. My boy Jason Cole will talk about that shit show going on in Boston today. And nobody doing their jobs any longer. But you got a lot of media people protecting one another because that's what they do. Okay? Lamar's only 4K season, by the way. Well, it's because he had 1,000 yards rushing in the other years. Hurts stopped running, guy. And by the way, cover, Lamar Jackson has led the NFL, I think, in touchdown passes 2 times. Hurts will never do that in his entire NFL career. He's got a better chance of leading the NFL in rushing touchdowns than he does in passing touchdowns. All right. So let's go to the second one. Why are you expecting Sean Mannion to be a better play caller than Kevin Patullo? Based on what? And don't give me this. Well, it can't get any worse. That's not a strategy. He can't get any worse? Help me out here. Why will Sean Mannion, who's got lesser experience as a coach in the NFL, because why? He freaking played quarterback? Why are you how are you expecting Sean Mannion to be a better play caller than Kevin Patullo? Based on what? Based on what? Help me out here. Based on what? I would really like to know why you think that Sean Mannion will be a better play caller for Hurts than Kevin Patullo was. Based on what? Okay, based on what? Tell me, anybody. Okay, so I'm going to write these down. RC says he played quarterback. Okay? Why do you think Sean Mannion will be a better play caller than Kevin Patullo? He played quarterback. What else? Why was Kellen Moore a good OC, Sills? That's his comp. Okay, so Prince is saying also because he played quarterback. Okay? What other reason? So far, he played quarterback from RC and Prince. Why will he be a better play caller than Kevin Patullo? Give me another reasons. Okay. Kevin Patullo was a quarterback in high school, in college, but Mannion was okay. So Forrest, he played quarterback. Okay. Who else? Game flow. What do you mean game flow? He's never called to play. Game flow? Based on what? Where have you seen his play calling game flow? So far, the only reason that you guys think that Sean Mannion will be a better play caller, RC3 says because he played the position. Prince says because he played quarterback. And Forrest says because he played quarterback. Okay, what else? Again, that's because he played the quarterback position. What you're saying. So he'll be a better play caller than Kevin Petula because he was a backup quarterback in the NFL. Is that right? Okay. Okay. Why will Sean Mannion be a better play caller than Kevin Petullo? And so far, the only thing you have is because he played the position. Give me one other one. That's the only thing you have? Is he played quarterback? Can I have anything else? Yeah, I know. There's no other one, Sills. Here goes. It can't get any worse than Petullo. I told you they'd go there. So here is what you have. It can't get any worse than KP. So here's so far what you have for a reason why you think Sean Mannion will be a better play caller than Kevin Petullo. RC3 played the position. Prince, he played the position. Forrest, he played the position. And this other guy here, it can't get any worse. Hurts, just better. Anything else? That's what you're telling me? That you think the reason that Kevin Petullo is going to be looked down on more so than Sean Mannion because he played the position and it can't get any worse. So let's take a look at Prince here. You played football. That doesn't mean I could be an in-game positional play calling defensive coordinator. That doesn't mean I have a feel for the game. Having knowledge of the game is different than being a situational play calling coordinator. Nobody's questioning whether or not Sean Mannion doesn't know the game. I'm talking about being a play caller, dude. Mannion delivers better donuts than KP. Prince will try to tell you because he played the so far, and I'll even go. What do you mean Mannion doesn't run the hitch? Where have you seen that? He's never run anything. Hold on. You're comparing a football guy that is drawing up a scheme to Petullo who had no clue which way to hold the clipboard. Okay, so original now. Because he played the position. So far we have two things. He played the position, and it can't get any worse. I'd like to have another one on why you think Sean Mannion will be a better play caller than Kevin Petullo. His offensive background comes from a place where the hitch route, that's concept, folks. He's never done it. I'm asking you a simple question. Why do you think this man will be a better play caller than Kevin Petullo? Not what plays he may run or have. What makes you think he will be a better play caller? Seals, did Mannion make Jordan Love better? If so, if Hurts buys it, isn't he better than Love? Dude, he didn't make Jordan Love better. Matt LaFleur made him better. Matt LaFleur is the play caller. Matt LaFleur is the guy. Sean Mannion was a clipboard holder. This topic can go on for the rest of the show. There's no reason to believe he will be better than KP. Concrete evidence, just hope. There you go. Actually, B. Preston has probably got the best one. You're hoping. Hope's not a strategy. Here's what you got so far, though, Preston. You got everyone in here talking about his past playing experience and no coaching experience. They're saying guys like Prince, Forrest, and RC3 that will supersede being a play caller in game, is that he'll know more because he played. And that's what they're giving him the benefit of the doubt on. And this other guy, Hurts is just better. It can't get any worse. This is what you have. And you, Press, hope. I'm just curious where you're getting this from. This makes no sense. You can't answer the question. Sean Mannion will be better OC than KP because Howie is giving him free reign and acquiring players to fit the scheme. Players are also buying into him earlier more than they did with KP during this time. They haven't even met yet. It's against NFL Players Association and collective bargaining. They don't even have a playbook yet. What are you talking about? They can't meet until the 20th. What do you think they're talking going over plays? That's collectively not true. So you're talking about a playbook they don't have yet. Like, what are you talking about, guy? Sills, let's face it. Until the Eagles get a defense or offensive head coach, this team has no direction. Changing the play at the line of scrimmage is totally different than calling plays. Hey, don't tell these guys that, because they're telling you right now that at the end of the day, they think because the guy played the position that the guy's going to be a savant play caller. And he's never been a coach. I want to know why they are so convinced, like they were a year ago when they told me, like Prince told me. If you remember right, I went back and looked. You know what Prince said about Kevin Patullo a year ago? He said it'd be an easy transition, not to worry. Well, what happened, Prince? What happened? You said that'd be an easy transition. How much power will the Eagles give Mannion? If Nick gets involved with the game plan, he will be involved with the game plan. Okay? How much? Let's see here. Hey, by the way, how about Howie not backing up Hurts today? At the beginning, it's happening. I'm like some sort of like guru dude now. Here we are, man. Oh, this 26th season. And when this thing gets out to a rocky start at the beginning of the year because Hurts can't read a defense, this thing's going to go. You're going to be in a tidal wave storm. Sales Mannion has modern structure driven offense from Shanahan McVay tree, emphasizing under center play action passes, heavy motion and layup passing concepts. Everything Hurts sucks at. Okay. Yeah, you know what too, Gabe? I got to hand it to you, Gabe. I was wrong about two quarterbacks. I said that Sam Darnold would never win a Super Bowl and Hurts would never win one. And you're right. Damn. You're right, man. I was wrong about those two guys winning Super Bowls. That Stunad Petula transitioned his way out of a job. Okay, well, again, I understand that. Mike, what makes you think that Sean Mannion will be better? What makes you say that? I have higher praise of hoping my wife gets hotter as she gets older than Sean Mannion. Oh, don't worry. Hurts is next. That's some presser today, man. How about old Howard Roseman, man? Oh, Howie today, boy. He was on a heater today. Not defending anybody. Man, especially Jalen Hurts. I was like, holy cow. Yeah, here, let me read this. Most of the questions that General Manager Howie Roseman on Tuesday's press conference was about next week's draft, but one of the ones that veered from the topic was Jalen Hurts. Hurts was the topic of recent ESPN.com stories, was very critical of his role in his last season's offensive struggles, discussing the issues, his leadership style, and his willingness to make changes that could change the outlook of both the fronts. On Tuesday, Roseman, today, was asked about Hurts standing with the team, and his answer concluded the reference to those who might have thought that the team had a hand in using the media to make a point to the quarterback. Quote, if we have any issues with any of our players, we talk to them directly. So from my perspective, from the head coach's perspective, from the Eagles owner's perspective, we're not hiding behind anything. We walk to our players directly. I think it's unfair. It's unfair to have these articles written, but I understand it's also what sells at this point. Yeah, I think it's unfortunate. I don't know what the hell that was. All he had to say was, those stories were not true. I don't know, man. This guy answers you 1,000 lawyers' way. Zero evidence. You still proclaim CP a home run for Dallas. Christian Parker? Yeah, because Dallas has nowhere to go but up because they were 30th. And Dallas has a long way to go. And this guy has worked with Vic Fangio. And this guy has been a coach in the NFL for 5 years. This guy's got seasoning behind him. Yeah. This guy's been a coach for 25 months. You hired a coach who's been a coach for 25 months to be your offensive head of the entire operation, offensive coordinator, not passing game guy, not quarterback guy, your OC. And he's been a coach 25 months. 25 months. This is going to be worse than when the Titanic hit the iceberg and sank, ironically, which was today. There you go. Look at that. Like I said, I don't know where I know all this stuff. I didn't even realize, but this is the beginning of the Titanic sinking on the day the Titanic sunk. Didn't the Eagles give Jake Elliott an extension? Who does that with a kicker, especially with that one? 25 months is all we need till Super Bowl. Here we come. Okay, well then, dude. So what makes you think Mannion is going to be better than Kevin Petula? I'll ask this for about two more questions here because you can't answer it. Another Big Sills Grand Slam question. You can't answer it. It's not answered. You have no history of the guy. And the only history he has is because he worked in the tree of Sean McVay. He worked with Matt LaFleur. He worked with Jay Gruden. And he played the position. That's it. That's your go-to on why you think he'll be better than Kevin Petullo. Sills is going to need as much blank paper to get so he can write all the extra content he'll get in 26. Think about that. Okay? Sills, don't you believe Howie purposely brought Mannion in knowing Hurts will move on after 26? Boy, it sure looks like that. All right. So let's get to Jalen Hurts. By the way, that was not a press conference where the GM or the head coach defended Jalen Hurts. No way. No way. Petullo and Brian ran the same offense Shane did The only difference is the league stopped Jalen from running after 22. Just no design runs, 4 verts. There you go, John. Okay. So we asked the question you couldn't answer on Sean Mannion. Now we're going to go to Jalen Hurts in what you've done this offseason. All the hires, the selecting of Dontavian Wicks, giving him a contract extension at 12.5. All the players that do not fit what the quarterback does. So let's go with who Hurts is. Here's who Jalen Hurts is in running your offense. Most notably, the passing game that the Philadelphia Eagles now want to change or are not getting their return on investment. In 2021, passing offense was ranked 29th. In 2022, the passing offense was ranked 6th. Excellent. In 2023, passing offense was ranked 16th. In 2024, the passing offense was ranked 29th. And in 2025, the passing offense was ranked 23rd. If you put all the years that he started, Jalen Hurts' passing offense has been ranked 21st. Based on what are you saying that they're going to elevate the passing game with this quarterback? Based on what? Based on what? And a $250 million offense that you're paying for. That's what Hurts has run as a passing offense. 2021, they were 29th. 22, they were 6th. 23, they were 16th. 24, they were 29th. And 25, they're 23rd. Based on what are you telling me that the passing offense is going to elevate? Even when the offensive line was healthy, they were not that great, except for 1 year. Based on what? In 24, the passing offense was 29th. And if you didn't have the iconic run game, your passing game was not going to win you a Super Bowl. Why are you sitting here saying that Jalen Hurts is going to have some breakout year? Based on what? In his 7th year as an NFL quarterback, where are we going here? Well, wait a minute. The straitjacket won you 2 NFC championships and a Super Bowl, having the straitjacket on Hurts. You're contradicting yourself. Okay? The straitjacket won. Did it not? The straitjacket won. So what are you talking about? When you put the quarterback in a straitjacket, they won. You're saying take the straitjacket off the guy? Well, I mean, what do you mean take the straitjacket off? The straitjacket won you 2 NFC championships and a Super Bowl. This is a great, I mean, Jordan Love, he was pretty good last year. But every time Zander kept bringing his name up, every time I watch that guy get into a ball game, I'm like, I don't know. I'm not that impressed with him. Okay, once again, 2021, the passing game was ranked 29th. In 22, it was 6th. In 23, it was 16th. In 24, it was 29th. Last year, it was 23rd. Jalen Hurts has never had an offense really in his 5 years, except for 22, where he was in the top 10. The rest of them have been in the lower 10. 5 of the 6 years that he's run that offense, the Eagles' passing game has solely relied on running the ball. And when they don't run the ball well, the offense cannot carry the load on any consistent basis because the passing game is not balanced. These are the facts. If you don't have a spectacular run game, you're not winning shit. And in 22, Miles Sanders had like the 4th highest rushing total in Eagle history. By the way, you see this here, but look up stats for every quarterback that's had a 2K rusher. Look at this here. That's every team. Well, Kenneth Walker only had 1,000 yards rushing. They didn't have a dominant run game. They had a dual back. They had dual backs. They didn't really have a dominant runner. They didn't have a dominant running game. Here, that's every team. Let's take a look at this. I'm not saying that Seattle didn't have a good running attack. I'm saying they didn't have a dominant runner. I think I was barely over 1,000 yards rushing. That's why they let him walk. By the way, Seahawks were 10th in rushing. Okay. That's darn good. But the Seahawks a year ago in passing, they were 7th. I think they were 7th. They were 8th. They were 8th in passing. And they had balance. They had the 10th best rushing attack and the 8th best passing attack. The Eagles have no balance. Zero. Stout is out also for how the run game regressed. So in 6 months, Forrest, with all those great things that he accomplished, Jeff Stoutland in 6 months had lost his touch with the offensive line. Is that correct? Is that what you're saying? Well, I'm not buying that. When Henry ran for 2K, the Titans were 23rd. Not great, but better than 29th. Key is balance. When one part of your game is not able because of injuries, like I said too, AZ, a year ago, you were 2nd in pass protection. When you asked the quarterback to elevate the passing game, he couldn't because they never have. And Jalen Hurts is 5 years starting as a starting quarterback. He has never elevated the passing game but 1 year. And it was 4 years ago. Not 1 year. Folks, this is not an opinion. This is what you've done. 29th and 21. 6th in 22. 16th and 23. 29th and 24. And in 2025, they were 23rd. You tell me. What makes you think that Hurts is going to elevate the passing game this year? Based on what? You couldn't answer why you think Kevin Petula will be a better, or Sean Mannion will be a better play caller than Kevin Petula, except for he played the position. It can't get much worse than Kevin Petula. What was the other one? He comes from a tree of Sean McVay, even though he's never put a playbook together. So I'm asking you about Hurts elevating his game. Based on what? The 2021 passing game was 9th, 29th, 29th, 29th. Okay? You tell me. 29th. As a unit. Okay? 29th in 2021. In 2022, they were 6th. In 2023, they were 16th. In 2024, they were 29th. In 2025, they're 23rd. Based on what do you believe the offense is going to become balanced? Based on what? Hold on. That wasn't, I never said to you, well, that the play calling was because of the quarterback. I'm asking you, why do you think Mannion will be better? What's your reasoning? AZ. You're passing. Why was it 29th? It's just passing yards. Right. You have no balance. No. AZ, I'm asking you why you think it'll be better. Based on what? Just an answer. There's a lot to look forward to. You'd rather focus. No. I'm asking you a question. If you think Gabe thinks this is a negative, based on what, Gabe, do you believe the passing game will be better with Sean Mannion versus Kevin Patullo? If you think asking that question is negative, you are being sensitive. I think that's a fair question. And I also think asking you as a unit, Hurts has never in his 5 years, outside of one season, had the unit in the top 10. What makes you think this year will be different? And if you think those are negative, then you got a problem and you're too sensitive. I think those are fair comments and fair questions to ask. Based on what? Where has he elevated the passing game? Except for 1 year. Here, 4 of the 5 seasons, they've been lower 10. You can't answer it. I mean, you can't. This is comical. Okay, let's ask a generic evergreen question. Where do you believe the 2026 passing game will be? Now, this is an opinion question. The other ones were facts. Okay? You tell me, where do you think a guy who's never been outside of 1 year in the top 10 in passing, and he's been normally down in the late 20s with his passing unit, where do you think this passing game goes? Look at this. Hurts isn't the OC, doofus. Well, then why are you hiring people who've never called a play if you're looking to improve the passing game? Explain that. You have to at least answer one of them. What makes you think Jalen Hurts is going to elevate the passing game? Then I ask you, what makes you think that Sean Mannion's going to elevate the passing game? Based on what, dude? I'm just asking a question. Based on what? Hurts isn't the OC. Here's another example that Mannion will be set up for failure. I think 15th in passing, 8th in running for 26. Oh, we're going to get to that next, the running game. So, Hurts' entire career, outside of one season, had the team in the top 10 in passing with all that talent. The rest of them, they've had zero balance. I asked you a question about the OC. You gave me some lame-ass answers. Well, because he played the position. And he was coached in the Sean McVay family of how you run offenses. Everything the quarterback doesn't do well. I'm not understanding where you are here. This makes zero sense. And by the way, that presser today, there is no way on planet anybody would come away from that presser today thinking that the organization is not right now a little bit Switzerland on whether or not that offense is going to be directed in a great light under Jalen Hurts this coming season. They did dispute those articles. Dan, do you know they went after 2 great offensive coordinators, but they signed with different teams? So 17 interviews later, he was the best option. Makes no sense, doesn't it? But you know what they'll tell you in here? Think about that, Ramir. They interviewed 17 people and landed on a guy who's been a coach for 25 months, never called a play or put a game plan together or a playbook together for a guy who's won as much as Jalen Hurts has. Make that make sense to you. I'll tell you why. Because the true offensive coordinator in Philadelphia the last 5 years has been Nick Sirianni. It's not been these other guys. Because one is the one consummate. It's been Nick and Nick's influence. Nick may not be calling plays, but he's heavily influenced in how that offense was to be run. Nick's changing it up. Not because why? Any other reason except for this. He knows they can't win that way because he knows that that way of winning is a short window. Now he wants to evolve the offense. Sills, I'm way off base? Okay, then explain your hires. Explain the people you're bringing in. How am I off base? You can't answer a simple question on why you think Sean Mannion will be a better play caller. And I asked you a question about Jalen Hurts elevating the passing game, and you can't answer that. And I'm clueless? Make that make sense. How am I off base? By the way, these aren't opinions. This is what you've done. So wait a minute. Are you comparing Nick Sirianni to Andy Reid? So wait a minute. Donnell, do you think Nick Sirianni is going to, like, what? Like, he's a better play caller and developer of quarterbacks than Andy Reid? Seals, I can't get behind the first-round picks on this offense when we don't know what the offense is going to look at or who fits. I would use later-round picks to see how this thing plays out. Like I said, too, also, we predicted on March 2nd, 2026, in our very first mock draft that I posted over on my X account, now that Charles Davis, Daniel Jeremiah, and Mel Kiper have jumped aboard the Big Sills train. This was March. This was a month after the Super Bowl. I predicted you would take Kenyon Sadiq. Nobody liked that pick. Now all of a sudden everyone does. Because it's starting to make sense. At least it makes sense on the coordinator. And by the way, think about this too, Noah. Why do you think they went out and got Dontavian Wicks? Anybody? Why do you think that they made a trade for Dontavian Wicks with Green Bay? Don't you get it? I want to show you something with Green Bay. This is too easy. I know you guys know. I know some of you won't, will never know this, but here's Green Bay. I'll show you this, guys. And you tell me, Kyle, hey, Bob, are you in here? You got to have some smart people that understand football, because there's like 7 people that don't understand it in here that do the most posting, and we'll never go to them unless they have a decent take. So here, you tell me if this sounds okay. Kyle, right? Bob, you in here? Kyle, Bob, Sue, I think Twiz. You said Sadiq sucked after everyone bashed you the next day. I never said Sadiq sucked. I compared Sadiq to Gronkowski's numbers at Arizona, asshole. I said he had the same numbers that Gronk had at Arizona that he had at Oregon. You forget that, right? That's not what I said. Okay? Never said that. All right. So, go here and look at Green Bay, for instance. So here, Romeo Doubs, Christian Watson, missed a ton of games. Tucker Kraft, Matthew Golden, Dontavian Wicks. Who else? Jaden Reed. Think about this. When you look at the Philadelphia Eagle wide receiver room, minus A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, Dontavian Wicks, Hollywood Brown, Elijah Moore. Then you get yourself a pass-catching tight end. That pretty much looks like the Green Bay offense that he was part of in Green Bay, does it not? Kim, think about this, Kim. Hold on here, Kim. Let's go to Kim. Kim, does that not sound like what they did in Green Bay with Jordan Love? Also looks like the Chiefs' offense. Right? Doesn't it look like that? Get yourself a pass-catching tight end that kind of duplicates what Tucker Kraft did. And look at the wide receiver room. And according to Mannion, he's going to look at a guy like Christian Watson. And that's going to be his Devontae Smith's going to be his Christian Watson. Looks like the same room to me when you add a quality tight end that can catch the football. Plus you got Goddard and him. That looks like the Green Bay passing attack. Does it not? And Josh Jacobs kind of resembles Saquon Barkley. Kind of looks the same. Does it not? It's not an elite wide receiving group, but it's deep. Being able to spread the ball around to multiple guys that can move in multiple places. All those guys move around. You get it? He's duplicating what he sees with Matt LaFleur. Matt LaFleur worked with Sean McVay with Jay Gruden in Washington. This is exactly what they're doing. Devontae Smith's going to be his version of Christian Watson. And the rest of it's going to be deep. These are the guys they're bringing in. Still, it's faster in pass catchers, something Hurts struggles with. Too many moving parts. I happen to agree with you. I don't think you have the quarterback. Who's winning 50-50 red zone balls in the room with no AJ? Sadiq. Sadiq will win those. That's why you're going after him. If he doesn't get picked up earlier, I think for them to take him, he's got to fall between like 13 and 15, somewhere in there, for them to grab him. Or they're going to go different angle. They may go another wideout. Listen, when you move off of A.J. Brown, the only place you can really improve the offense is wideout and right guard. Every other position is bogged down by a contract. Sills, doesn't Sadiq's size kind of remind you of Shannon Sharp? Yeah. Also, too, a Jason Witten. Somebody like that. Sills, you could get by so much with just dudes at wideout. Why San Francisco got Mike Evans. Mike Evans is on the back nine of his career, though, right now. They don't really have a number one guy. Their number one guy is McCaffrey out of the backfield. That will be a problem. We're going to go there in a minute here. No, Sills, I'm saying they should use the same format Andy used because it worked and Vic became a better passer. Dude, they had quality coaches on that coaching staff back then when Michael Vick was on the Eagles. They had great assistant coaches in the passing game. Hey, Donnell, let's see here. Michael Vick. Let me go here. I'm going to show you something, Donnell. And then I'm going to get to Saquon Barkley. Zander's going to join us at the bottom here. So, Michael Vick. Let's see here. Michael Vick. Okay, in Philadelphia, Vick, what was his best year? It was probably 2011. Was his best year in Philly. 2010 was 3,000. Then the next year he was 33. So let's take a look at that. So 2011. I want to show you something, Donnell. Here. 2011. 2011 Eagles. Okay. So in 2011, you had Juan Castillo, you had Marty Morningwig, you had Howard Mudd as your assistant coaches. I mean, Marty Morningwig was your assistant coach in the passing game on that coaching staff. That's pretty damn good, man. Plus you had Andy in there. You have a first-year play calling guy that's going to develop Jalen Hurts? Yeah, I'm not seeing that. Andy Reid and Marty Morningwig? And then you turn around and you're trying to tell me, I'm not saying you are, but Andy Reid has always had a great coaching staff. And by the way, for the record, Donnell, Michael Vick didn't win shit. All right. Here's another question. Since you couldn't answer any of those other two, let's do another one here. Will Saquon Barkley be a top 10 running back in 26? Okay? Saquon Barkley was a top 10 in rushing this past year. He was 10th. He was 35th in yards per carry. 35th. There's only 32 starting running backs. He was 35th in yards per carry in the NFL. 35th. (4-1) landed him 35th. (35th). 32 teams. This guy was outside the starting running backs and then some. And the only reason that they did have it is because they kept going to it. And like Sue said just now, he ain't getting any younger. And nor is your line. Saquon Barkley was 35th in rushing yards per carry. 35th. One of the worst numbers in the league. By the way, let's see something on Barkley. Let's see something here. Barkley. And I'm going to ask you on Saquon Barkley. Barkley played every game last year. He didn't miss any games. They sat him for the final game. What makes you think Barkley's going to be a top 10 back again? Based on what? So far, you can't answer the Sean Mannion question. You can't answer the Jalen Hurts question. And now we're going to ask you about Barkley. Based on what will Saquon Barkley be a top 10 back again? He was one of the worst running backs in pro football a year ago when it came to yards per carry, which means he wasn't efficient. High volume, low results. Worst thing you can hear. High volume, low results. Based on positivity. So my boy is going on hope as his strategy. What else? You're hoping the O-line is healthy. Hoping O-line is healthy. Okay? Hope he returns. What else? Based on what? Alignment. Okay, I'll go with that. Quarterback's got to want to play under center. Is that right? QB has to play under center. Okay, I'll go there. For Mannion, I think they hired him because of analytics and trends on what the league is trending on offense. It's not bad. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, what game were you impressed the most with Jeremiah Love a year ago? Thanks, Kim. What game were you impressed with him? Jeremiah Love a year ago. When he played against top flight competition. What game was that? And I'll agree. A generational talent? I told you Bijan Robinson would be. I don't see that with this guy. Okay? Like, where did you see him at Notre Dame? What game was it that I'll bend. Tell me what game you saw a year ago where you went, Jeremiah Love was a traditional talent? What game was that? Where you went, holy shit. Okay? What game was that? All right. Reyes, what game was that? That he was badass last year? Wasn't A&M, wasn't Miami. What game was it? Miami held him to 33 yards rushing. So what game was it where he was electric in? Where you saw him and went, wow, what a generational talent. What game was that? Like, pick one. I'll wait a second. Dude, I'm talking about the draft. What game did you see in his career where you went, man, that guy is some special ball player? You can't name a game because most people in Philly don't watch college football. He nearly had 150 yards. He's actually a dual threat running back. Let's see what he did in that game against A&M. I think that's the 41-40 game. Yeah, Miami held that team to 6 yards or 6 points, I think, or 3 points. I forget. So let's take a look. Jeremiah Love against Texas A&M. Okay. He had 94 rushing yards, 53 receiving, totaling 147 that he had in the ball game. So he had 94 yards rushing versus A&M. Okay. And he had 53 receiving versus A&M. That's generational. One game. Pitt is a lower level team. Dude. So Pitt. Okay. Pitt. At 90 yards rushing against A&M. Okay. I am. Hey. A presser today, boy. How about that presser with those headlines? Hang on here, man. Oh my God, this is the best. Let me read some of these headlines before we get Big Z in here. They're going to get a little bumpy. Here we go. Let's see here. Before I bring Big Z on here, let me read some of these bullshit headlines here. Oh, look at this. Elliot Wolf on keeping the door open for AJ. I keep the door open. There you go. Let's see. How about that bullshit Boston media not asking any questions on Vrabel and Russini? Yeah, we're going to get on that with Jason Cole later on here. Hold on here. Where's the Howie? Where's the Howie, baby? Those headlines were just dynamic today, man. Howie Roseman, man. We got a problem with a player. We address it with that player immediately. I call bullshit, Bob Lang. Here we go. Where's that Howie line? What a bunch of bullshit today, man. Coming out of the M. Reyes Center over where the NovaCare Center, I'm not giving them the kudos on the new name either. They don't pay my bills. You pay my bills, I'll talk about your advertiser. Other than that, I don't work for the Eagles. They work for me, baby. Wait a minute. Before I get Z in here, man, where's that one headline in here that Howie was bullshitting? God, man, he's such a bullshit artist. He is the ultimate bullshit artist I've ever seen here. What a great line. One more Z. Hang on. Let me find it. That presser today was a joke. If we got a problem with a player, We immediately go to him. No, you don't. And by the way, they didn't dispute any of the conversations that they had about when someone asked them the question about him. So, without further ado, God, do we have a lot going here. Look at man. Whew, Big Sil's been on a heater. And on March 2nd, 2026, Zander Krause looked me right in the face and went, that is a horrible first mock draft for Big Sills. Now, Daniel Jeremiah, Mel Kiper, and my boy Charles Davis. Come on, jump on the Big Sills wagon with Kenyon Sadiq. Without further ado, my boy, Big Z, Zander Krause joins us now here on the program. How you doing,
What's up, Bills?
How you doing, brother?
I'm good, man. I'm ready to either take you to the woodshed or maybe you'll take me there today.
No. There's no woodshed here. This is just gonna be truth.
Wait, did I say that on Kenyon Sadiq? I swear you could. Yeah. Somebody could make a list of shit I've said on shows and give it to me. Listen, I would be like, did I say that? I don't remember saying that. I don't even know what the hell it's like. Senor, the guy keeps tabs on me like I'm his girlfriend. It's like weird.
Oh, trust me.
I have no idea half the time.
Hey Z, wait a minute. As you get into this thing more, don't worry, man. You make one slip up, it's anything. But here. Is it starting to make more sense? Let's go here with this for Sadiq here. Follow me here on this. So if you take a look at the Green Bay Packers offense, and as I pointed out a couple minutes ago, Dontavian Wicks, Hollywood Brown, Elijah Moore, Devontae Smith, who could be their what's that kid's name that they have in there? Tristan, what's his name? Watson? Could be. I'm not saying Watson's better. I'm talking style type. Then you add a pass-catching wide receiver like Sadiq. Doesn't that resemble the passing offense of Green Bay and how they approach with Sean McVay's offensive? Remember, Sean McVay and Matt LaFleur worked in Washington with Jay Gruden. They were on that coaching staff together.
Yeah, but different personnel. I mean, they have different quarterback.
I'm talking about Green Bay's personnel. It's starting to look in Philly a little like the Green Bay personnel. It's deep. Do you not agree? They're trying to deepen
I see what you're saying.
Role.
I see what you're saying with that. That'd be interesting. I mean, that's not that I don't necessarily view that as the right thing to do.
But it's what they're doing.
Well, it's the off season, so it's tough to gauge exactly what they're going to try and accomplish. But
completely,
I agree. I mean, it looks a little interesting. You know, I mean, you know what my only negative today was from the press conference, which I'm not a fan of? My only negative takeaway from today's press conference was I'm starting to feel like the Eagles organization they're playing the victim card a lot for me. You know, Jeffrey Lurie has said like 4 different times now the 2022 Super Bowl was stolen from us. Like, no, it wasn't. The player who got called for a holding admitted to holding him after the game. Wasn't stolen from you. We lost the game fair and square. You know, and now Howie's like, it's an unfair report. Well, you didn't dispute the report. You just said it's unfair.
Yeah.
No, I hate that mentality, that victim mentality that they're starting to get. I hope that they shed that. They don't need that. You guys are operating like the best team in football. Act like it.
I love that.
You know, I mean, come on, man. So that was the one thing I didn't like about that answer from Howie today.
Would you be okay with them taking Sadiq?
Yeah, I would. I mean, here's the thing.
Remember something, Zander. Off seasons and opinions evolve. Okay?
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, especially the AJ Brown situation.
No, Theo, dude, don't tell me Theo's going down there. Oh man, Theo, you're not the victim too, are you, Theo? Theo, of all people, I didn't expect it from you, Theo.
Theo,
oh no,
the Chiefs played on that field too.
Yeah,
kid.
The field. What happened? They switched the field every time the Eagles got on the field. Come on, man.
Is this true? Diana Russini resigned from the Athletic.
Is that true?
Is it?
Well, I don't know. Maybe that's what Jimbo puts in there. Jimbo's normally pretty good. He's not a big liar in the chat, so I trust Jimbo for the most part. No, back to Sadiq. The reason that I've come around on it a little bit more is because if you look at the draft board at 23, it's really not a great spot unless the board falls the way that the Eagles want. Like if there's a big run on wide receivers and 2 quarterbacks go and edge rushers go, then all right, maybe you're talking about maybe the board falls to you. But right now it looks like a lot of offensive linemen are going to go. You know, the edge rushers are probably going to go. I don't think they're going to use a first-round pick on a safety. So if all the offensive linemen go, and you're looking there at 23, or maybe they want to make a targeted trade up, who's going to be there? You know, and I think Sadiq would be probably one of the better players there that could be there at 23.
By the way, that looks like to be a true story that Diana Russini has resigned from the New York Times, and
I'm done ragging on her. I don't want to beat up on her anymore. I hope it all goes well from here. You know, it was an unfortunate thing that happened. It was unprofessional, and now she's going to pay the price for it. But probably a forced resignation, right? You'd say.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, the New York Times completely you can't have people in your. It hurts the reputations of the other reporters inside your building.
Yeah, it does. It hurts the publication, a publication that prides themselves on being the standard, which they're not, but they say they're not. You know,
of course they're not. So okay, see, I'm gonna play a little ball game with you here. Okay, let me go over here, get all my notes. So I'm gonna ask Big Z the first one. Here we go. Why are you expecting Sean Mannion to be a better play caller than Kevin Petullo? Based on what are you saying he'll be better than Kevin Petullo? Why
100%.
are you?
Go ahead, finish up.
I mean, why do you think he'll be a better play caller?
Well, there's certainly no evidence of it. You know, this is a projection. This is, in a way, as a fan, for somebody that doesn't have any control over it, you're hoping that he's has a better feel for the game. You're hoping that he, adapts to the talents of the players a little bit more. One thing I'm hoping for is I hope he's not, how do I word this? I hope he's not soft-spoken. I want him to go in there and don't be afraid to put your foot down. You got to earn respect, and you're going to have to do that. Nobody's just going to give you respect, but you got to earn respect. You got to go in there, put your foot down when you think something's right. And look, if it fails, you're going to fall on the sword. But if you don't do it, like look at Petullo, for example. If the article is true and Petullo didn't have as much say as he wanted, he still got fired. He still got canned. So what's the point? Go in there, Sean Mannion, have an identity, have a vision for what you want to accomplish, and then stop at nothing to achieve it, and that's what I hope he does. I think Jalen will take to the coaching. I do. I've never seen Jalen not take to hard coaching. I know they talk about like everybody walks on eggshells, but I don't think it has anything to do with Jalen. I think Jalen carries, I think, an aura that some people shrink under. He's a confident dude. He's not a vocal dude. He's not a guy that will be easily, put into a corner, if you will. You can tell by the way he speaks at press conferences. And I think a guy like Petullo, who maybe didn't have the type of confidence that you need, maybe was afraid to challenge him here and there. And, I think it's a good thing for both sides, but I hope Sean comes in with confidence and, coach, don't just be there as a friend. Coach, do what you got to do to try and find success with the team. And that's what I hope he does. And I think Jalen will have a good response to it, but he's got to do it. It's not Jalen's burden for the offensive coordinator to coach him. Also in that article was Kellen Moore pushed back on Jalen Hurts. That's a good thing. That's what you want of coaches, right? How many times did Jimmy Johnson push back on you? Jimmy Johnson didn't just let Dan Sileo, because he's friends with you and thinks you're a great guy and got a great family, he didn't just let you do what you wanted. He taught you how to become a better player, a better man, a better professional. And that's what I'm hoping for Mannion. But back to your original question, it's all hope, brother. It's all hope and potential for him.
Don't you agree with the one thing that you keep saying and everyone else says? I think Nick respected Kellen Moore more because Kellen Moore had a track record. I think when you don't have a track record, I think you're going to be quicker to have a shorter leash,
right,
with a coordinator like Kevin Patullo and with Sean Mannion. Do you not agree?
Yeah, it's natural in a way, right? I mean, how could Jalen, a guy who's achieved as much as he has, look at Patullo, who hasn't achieved,
nothing,
a fraction?
He's been there for the ride. You talk about caboose,
right? A fraction of what hurts. So I do understand that, but you got to respect in a way the hierarchy. Like Nick decided to hire Mannion or whoever decided to hire him as the offensive coordinator of the team. Jalen's got to do his job. The offensive coordinator's got to do his job. So look, we haven't even heard from Mannion. There's not a whole lot out there to gauge him on, but I'll just go off of a feel. I feel good about him. I feel like he's going to be he's going to work. I don't know if he's going to work this year, which is my concern because the Eagles aren't a patient bunch, but I think he does have a bright future. So we will see. We will see what ends up happening with him.
So if you got a chance to interview the 17th greatest talk show host for a guy that you wanted to hire to your network, you would land on a guy who's never done it before if you got a chance to interview Angelo Cataldi, Howard Eskin, or some of the more experienced guys? Would you hire a guy who has no experience whatsoever when you're talking about keeping a budget, being successful, winning?
Well,
you're going to hire people on a whim?
You want me to be honest?
Yeah.
It depends. If I'm looking to be cheap, I'm going with the cheap person.
If you want more
funny story.
Or if you want more control.
Funny story though. Well, I guess, but that's not, you're asking me. That's not my perspective. But funny story. The only reason I'm on this show right now is because this company had to get cheaper. Jody Mack used to host Birds 365. He came to us after his contract was up. He wanted a massive pay increase. We couldn't afford to give him that type of pay increase. And in comes me, who's no extra cost to the company. And now I start hosting Birds 365. Now, maybe that's too much information. Maybe I shouldn't tell all you that. But that's the truth. That's the God's honest truth. Jody wanted a pay raise. We couldn't give him a pay raise. And boom, I'm the host of Birds 365.
Folks, just so you know, that's what they're doing at WIP too. So go ahead.
I'm just saying, that's kind of the realistic truth. Now, I don't think that's the case, obviously, with an NFL football team. So I don't know. I don't know why they went with Mannion. That's why I'm wondering.
17 interviews. That's who you landed on.
Maybe the dude impressed. Look, here's where I'll push back on.
Are you really buying that?
Here's where I'll push back on you. The Eagles have done a lot of hires that didn't make a whole lot of sense. Andy Reid didn't make a whole lot of sense. Doug Peterson didn't make a whole lot of sense. Nick Sirianni didn't make a whole lot of sense. And they have been able to find guys who have grown and have been very successful. So I'm not saying it's a guarantee Sean Mannion's going to be great, but I do think in the coaching department, they've earned at least my patience to see how it goes. I'm not gonna come in here and say he's gonna be Kevin Patullo just because he's got no experience. Let me see what he can be.
Okay. So let me go to this one here. This is Jalen Hurts. What will the Eagles passing game be like in 26? So let me go here. 2021, they were ranked 29th. 22, they were 6th. In 23, they were 16th. In 24, they were 29th. In 2025, they were 23rd. Comes out to about an average of being 21st, bottom 10 in the league. So let me ask you, what makes you feel comfortable saying that Jalen Hurts and Nick and everyone involved are going to elevate the offense to have some sort of balance when it comes to the passing game?
Yeah,
based on what? Based on what?
I'm surprised they were sixth, and you said they were sixth in 2000.
I can't believe that. I went back and looked three times.
Well, that offense really worked. Remember, Jalen Hurts was exceptional that year, man. He was unbelievable that year. So he had a huge year. He threw the ball well. I still think Super Bowl 57 is the best I've ever seen Jalen throw the ball in an individual game. I mean, he was so on point
His
in that
best game
game.
as an Eagle.
I agree. I don't know, Sills. I don't know where. See, it's hard to tell because so much of the foundation changed this year. You know, even when you went from Brian Johnson to Kevin Petula or Kellen Moore, the foundation didn't change. You know, Jeff Stoutland was still there. Your offensive line was still much intact. So much foundational changes have happened this summer that I don't know how you cannot be in a wait and see mode. Now, I also don't have a problem with people who are not optimistic. I don't. It's not foreign to me for you to say they got rid of Jeff Stoutland and they hired a bunch of rookies to coach a $200 million offense. That's not going to work. So that I have no problem with that thought process. It's not particularly my thought process, but I understand it.
Listen,
So
what I'm looking for is this, Z. Like, what do you, again, this is another hope that the passing game is going to somehow in 6 years, okay, in the 6th year, 5 of those years, one of those 5 years starting, it was really good. But that was with the advent of running the ball. He had almost 800 yards rushing that year, 15 touchdowns rushing that year. I want to know what people are basing it on, where you're going to see balance in your passing attack, where really in his 5 years, he's never shown that.
well, I mean, the player is a unique player. You know, he's not
He's a unique when he runs. He's a unique when he doesn't run. He's not unique.
He's ordinary.
He's not a unique player when he doesn't run, dude.
Well, so are you under the impression that if Jalen doesn't run, that there's very minimal chance of success?
Correct. If he doesn't have 750 yards plus rushing this year, that offense will not work. He is not a passing pocket guy. We all have established it.
750 is heavy, brother.
650. He's got to be up there. Dude, for the Baltimore Ravens passing attack to work, Lamar's got to be north of 750 yards every year.
Yeah, but I don't view them as a blueprint. Jalen's been more successful than Lamar has.
Okay. Not individually.
Not individually. I mean, Lamar, how many MVPs does Lamar have? Two?
Two. Should have won 3.
Could have won 3, yeah. I thought Josh should have won that year. I know everybody thought Lamar should have. I was fine.
Well, he had 4,200 passing yards and 41 touchdowns and 4 picks.
Yeah, that's pretty fucking
and 950 yards rushing.
Holy shit. Is that what his numbers were that year?
Yeah, 950 yards rushing.
Golly, man. Lamar is an electric athlete. There's no doubt about that.
I don't think he's the game manager, though, that hurts his, especially in 2 minutes left in ball games. I think that's where you lose me on him a little bit, is at the end of ball games and at the end of halves. I think he presses too much, man. And I think his coaching doesn't help him at times. And I think that's why they moved off of John Harbaugh.
Well, I think that's also one of the reasons that Jalen might be struggling with trusting these coaching staffs, dude. It's a new guy, you know, and there's not a lot of consistency in it for him. There's it's been up or down, it's been hit or miss. So I don't know. I think that's probably a part of it too. That does. I don't believe that removes his burden of responsibility. I think there are people out there who kind of, give him a free pass because of that. I don't believe that. When you're a top paid quarterback in the league, I don't give a shit if Mickey Mouse is calling your plays. You have an obligation and a responsibility to deliver the goods. And if you don't, you're going to get criticized for it. That's just the nature of the game. So that's kind of what I believe. But I do think maybe that's played into how he's handled, some of the changes on offense. And maybe why you heard he goes rogue or he calls plays a lot at the line of scrimmage now, because maybe he just hasn't had a lot of trust, in the staff, which could be a part of it as well.
All right, let's go to another one here. Do you believe that Saquon Barkley will be a top 10 running back in 26?
Top 10 in terms of yardage, just overall production?
Let me add to that what you just said. He was top 10 in yards. He was 35th in yards per carry.
Okay, so you're talking about full picture.
Yeah, and I'm saying this also. There's only 32 starting running backs. This guy was out of the picture
Well, remember, there are guys like Tank Bigsby who get like 50 carries in the year. They average
50,
5.5.
that's right. That's right. That's fair. Let's just say this. You don't want to be a running attack where your back is between 20 and 35 in yards per carry. Do you not agree? Year before he was second. By the way, Derrick Henry a year ago was 5.7 a carry or 5.4 a carry.
Well, this is I brought this up to you yesterday, and I was talking about it with John a little bit again today. Like this is where I'm in wait and see mode on this offense. Like it doesn't make a lot of sense to, one, put Jalen in an offense that doesn't fit his skill set. Two, to put Saquon Barkley in an offense that doesn't fit his skill set. I don't know. Now, I know people. I've seen this. So I saw Theo put in, go check out Barkley in New York. I think he had a bunch of receptions with Eli Manning, one of his first years.
First year.
So that's a long time ago, Theo. As you know, that's like 8 years ago. That's like lifetimes in the NFL. So I don't know if he can be that player, but I got confidence in Barkley. I think Barkley's going to have a good year, but that comes with the caveat that they're going to put Barkley in a position to be successful. I mean, if you're going to try and turn Saquon Barkley into Christian McCaffrey, then I don't think it's going to be all that pretty. I really don't. I just don't think that's his skill set, Just like you just brought up Derrick Henry, arguably the best running back in football. I wouldn't use Derrick Henry like that. That's not a criticism of Derrick Henry, So they got to put Saquon in a position to be successful.
Derrick Henry in San Francisco would be a train wreck.
I think Saquon's going to have a good year not because of the projected changes on offense, but because they have such a focus right now on first down. And that's where they want to go under center more. That's where they want to give the back more opportunity, or more variation in what he can do or what he can decide to do post snap. So I think Saquon's going to have a good year. I don't know that he's going to get back to,
So here's where you are with these questions. You're hoping that Mannion's going to be better than Patullo, and you're also projecting Hurts to have. By the way, did you answer that? Where do you think the passing game was going to be? Like, where'd you put the passing game? For you to be comfortable with success this year, where are you putting the passing game?
I think the team will be excellent if they're a top 15 passing game.
Top 15.
Now, they got to be better than that, I think, offensively. Like, I think the running game has to be great, too, and they got to be a top 10 offense.
So, like, when you're top 5 running attack?
Somewhere in there. Top 8, somewhere in there. Yeah, but you're talking strictly passing. I think they got to be a top half of the league. I mean, top half of the league. You can't
be in the middle of the league with $250 million in payroll.
Yeah, I agree. And I don't think that's a lot.
I think this is where I agree with the owner. I don't think that's a tough ask to ask. To sit there and ask by passing attack 15th,
not at all.
29th.
It's not.
Right?
It's not a lot to ask at all.
And
that's what they should be.
Doesn't a top 15 passing attack also help the run game?
Yeah. Are you kidding me? 100%. I've been saying this. There's a clog in the drain. How many times have I said that? There's a clog in the drain. When you don't put fear in defenses' hearts about throwing the ball across the middle of the field, inside the seams, even outside the number, all over the yard, and they focus less on that. It's going to be hard to run the ball, man. They're going to toss 7-8 people in the box every single play and say, good luck, Saquon. 5 dudes, 6 dudes can't block 8-9 dudes. It's not going to work. So, I think it's going to open it way up.
The Eagles have a cat hairball named Jalen Hurts in their throat, and they got to get that thing out of there. That's what I'm saying for this year. They got to throw the ball, man.
They do. I agree. They got to look. I think at the end of the day, they have to be a better offense, and passing is the number one part of that balance. But you could say that because the passing is the thing that's dragged it down. I mean, you just said it. Saquon was 10th in yards last year. Even with kind of a subpar year for him, he was still 10th in the league in rushing yards. To that yards per carry, if you can pass the ball a little bit better, does that go up from 4 to 5.2 or 5?
But Z, when you're talking about being 10th with a low production, because you dumped the volume. He went from 345 carries to 280 carries, I think it was. right? Are you saying you need to up the volume with Barkley again, like you did in 24?
Yeah,
Should they up the volume?
I don't know. I mean, I think that's a slippery slope because he's getting older. You know, I mean, running backs don't typically
Well,
last.
dude, you gotta run one of these guys to the end. You're either gonna run Hurts or you're gonna run Barkley to the end.
I know it's true.
You
You
can't
go into preservation mode on both of them. You're
Yeah.
going to fall. You're going to be mediocre. You know.
Yeah, you're 500, right? I mean, here's my problem with what they're doing this year, or what it looks like they're doing. It looks like they're trying to extend these guys. And dude, run these ponies. There's a reason why those thoroughbreds are 3-year-olds, and after that, they're retired. You run those 3-year-olds, right, in those stake races for a reason.
Yeah.
That's kind of what these guys are here in football players. Hey, some guys are 17, 18-year guys. Some guys are 9-year guys. Michael Vick didn't have a long window in his career either. He just, I mean, the only reason that it seemed that Vick had a longer career is because he was put away for a couple of years in the can. I mean, all right, Z. Chris Cooper. What are you expecting from him when you've had Howard Mudd, Juan Castillo, and also Jeff Stoutland as your offensive line coach? What are you expecting that guy to do?
Well, I'll tell you what, I got a little bit more confident when I heard that Vic Fangio gave him a vote of confidence. It was apparently a big part of the reason that they went to Chris Cooper. Now, I'm not saying that's a guarantee. Okay, I'm just saying I liked to hear that. But, dude, in all honesty, I think this is a really tough spot for Chris Cooper. He could be a great coach, and I think it's a tough spot. I mean, you're talking about following up a guy who has had a perennial top offensive line for a decade plus, a great running game for a decade plus. I mean, we were a great running game with Miles Sanders and DeAndre Swift. Miles Sanders did nothing when he left Philadelphia. Nothing. The Panthers paid him big money. He lasted a year there and then was a practice squad guy in Dallas. You know, so this is a tough dude to follow up, man. It's a tough dude to follow up. And I think I said this before, and this is what I honestly believe. If the offensive line is healthier, or they play better than they did last year, or are more positioned to play better, I think he'll have a good first year as an Eagles offensive line coach. If Cam Jurgens and Landon Dickerson are injured or banged up, and Lane Johnson misses half his games, well, I think it's going to be tough sledding for Chris Cooper.
Man, I mean, it just, the conversation that you and I are having here, man, you've really got to have positive, like, I hate use the word hope, man. I really do, but you really have to have positive hope. The old line's going to get healthier.
Oh, it is hope, dude. This is a hope offseason for Eagles fans. It is. Right? I mean, dude, they hired a lot of guys, like you just mentioned, Cooper, Mannion. We talked about Mannion today. I mean, that's the theme right now of our segment. It's a hope offseason, brother. It is.
I want to do something with you here with where we are right now. We're almost a week out from the draft. By the way, on Thursday, we'll do our final mock draft. So we'll do that on Thursday as we get ready for the upcoming NFL draft next Thursday. First round, then the second round on Friday, and then the rest of the rounds. I think it's second and third on Friday. And then you got the rest of the rounds over the weekend.
Yep, that's correct. Second and third is Friday. Yep.
All right. I want to play a little game and have a little fun here with this. I'm going to go back and I want to ask you, with everything we just talked about. So I want to look at this schedule because you're going to have a first place schedule. By the way, the schedule comes out, I think, between May 14th and May 16th is when I saw the NFL is going to release this stuff.
Is that what it is? That late? Oh, dang, I thought they were going to do it a little earlier.
Yeah. January, February, March. Yeah,
What's
May.
going on in June? I got to figure out what. Is there anything happening in
It's
June?
it's the beginning of OTAs.
In June? I thought that was July.
July's training camp. See, you have one coming up here on the 20th. You got a camp coming up on the 20th. Eagles, that'll be the first time that the players get a chance to see the new offensive coordinator too.
12th to the 14th this year.
So here you go. Yeah, I'm just going to play a little fun game here with you. Arizona, I think you win that game. I think you're going to split the Cowboys. What do you think?
With Cowboys?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think split's fine.
You think you beat the Jags?
Yeah.
I don't. So you got them winning that. Okay. You think you split with the Giants?
No, I think we sweep the Giants. I don't think they're ready.
I think you're going to split that.
We split it last year and they weren't ready, so no, I understand why.
Okay, so you got Jags and you got sweep of the Giants. Okay. Commanders. You think you sweep them?
Commanders? No, I'll go split there.
Okay. Split. Rams in Philly.
Rams and Philly's a tough game, but give me the Birds in a close one. We got them last year. We've gotten them, but we've gotten the better of that team a couple years now. I'll take the Birds.
Okay.
I will say this. I think the Rams are the best team in football right now from a roster standpoint.
Okay. I got the Rams winning that.
No, I'm not surprised.
Well, they're better. Seahawks.
The best team doesn't always win, my friend.
Got that. Ask the Giants. I get it. Hey, Seahawks at Lincoln Financial.
Fuck the Seahawks. The Eagles are winning that at Lincoln.
Okay. You got them.
Picking the Eagles to lose to the Seahawks at Lincoln Financial Field.
Okay.
With Sammy Darnold.
I got Seahawks winning. Texans at Lincoln Financial. What do you got?
Give me the Birds. CJ Stroud's a stiff.
Okay. I actually think you're going to win that game. Colts, Philly.
Eagles.
Okay.
Holy shit, I got us 15-2.
Yeah. 49ers. I got you dropping that one.
Where is that game?
Levi.
I might like the Niners there. I actually think the Niners are going to be a solid team.
Okay. Get the Niners. Tennessee Titans. I got you winning that.
Yeah. Duh.
Okay. Chicago Bears, Soldier Field.
Ooh, that's a good game. That team beat us up last year, man. You know, that team took our, what's it say when you what is it? You take
the woodshed.
Yeah, but they took our, what's it called? What's that phrase?
Soul, dog.
No, that's not what I'm saying.
Bro, I got you winning.
A taste of our own medicine, maybe something like that.
Okay.
You know, they played our own game against us.
I got you winning that.
I do too. I think they win that game.
Pittsburgh.
Eagles win.
Okay. I got you winning it. Carolina.
Eagles win. Although I think that's going to be a better game than people think. We played that team really close a couple years ago. Remember Xavier Legette dropped the ball at the end of the game?
Bro, I think Carolina is a really good football team.
They're a good team. They have been building sneaky the right way for a couple years now. They're finally ready to be there.
So I look at them right now as an 8-9 team. You look at them right now as a 13-4 team. All right.
Wow. On April 14th, sure.
Yeah. Heading into the draft, you got them at 13-4 with all the shit we just talked about. All right. Wow. Baby, this is good.
Well, look, I called it a hope offseason, but I mean, look, Sills, the other thing I think you're discounting here, and I understand that you don't factor this, but this, you know, there is a reason for confidence also for this team. I mean, they've had a really, really successful run, the most successful run, you know, in a long time. So
greatest in franchise history,
right? So it's not to say it's going to be perfect or devoid of problems, but you know, I do think this team will figure out a way to win football games consistently and to be a good team. And until they don't, I'm going to have confidence in that, or at least portray some level of that confidence.
So, like the San Francisco 49er game, in your opinion, you don't believe that that's a precursor of things to come. You think that was a one-off game, that's not things to come.
Well, it depends. I mean, if the offense is inept again, then yeah, it's going to be a lot of that. It's going to be really ugly.
You see, I think the whole season of 25 was a precursor of what's to come. Like after September, dude, you were 500 the whole
Yeah,
freaking
dude,
year.
to be honest, I mean, not to pick on you, but I mean, you said the same thing after 23. I understand why, but they've had the ability to bounce back. So
Okay.
let's see what they can do. I think
Like I
they can
said,
bounce back.
24, you're right. 23, we weren't wrong. 22, we weren't wrong. And 25,
No,
we
I
were.
didn't say that to you as like oh, you were
No,
wrong.
no,
That's
no,
not
no, no,
wasn't
no.
my
I'm
point. My
not.
point was, it can
They
always change.
excelled.
Anybody with the
You
brain
know
after
why they
23
excelled
would
in
have been like, this
24?
team's going the wrong way.
There were two reasons that they excelled in 24 that I didn't see coming. One, that defense was going to play the way it did, and Barkley was going to have a career year. Other than that, Hurts has been normal. And guess what?
Yeah. I mean, look,
his years have said that.
Yeah, Jalen's got to play better. He's got to. This is a year that Jalen is going to have to bear the he has the burden of bearing the fruit for this offense this year. He didn't have it as much the last couple of years with the additions of Saquon and some of those things. This is going to be the year where Jalen's going to have to play elite level football to try and elevate that offense. And if he doesn't, I think it's going to be. I think it's going to be the start of potentially a lot of changes in Philly.
Okay, so here, let's go. A couple more here for you, guys. By the way, hit the like button. We appreciate you. We'll read those supers that came in early too. So you tell me, do you agree that, dude, that press conference too? It didn't really seem they were defending Hurts. I'm going to go back and listen more of it here, but do you not agree that 26 has everything to do with the future of Jalen Hurts' career as a starting quarterback in Philadelphia, that by December, they'll have a decision to be made on extension or no extension?
Yeah, I think that's obvious. He's got no guaranteed money, or full guaranteed money after this year. I think it's like $20 million next year, so it's not the full contract. Yeah, I mean, look, I think that's the reality for every player that's going into that type of deal. That's the reality for anybody who's going to run out of guaranteed money. So he's got to play better. He's no different than everybody else, and I think it's the same for Sirianni. And I will say this. I have noticed what you've noticed in terms of it looks like they're more committed to the coaching staff right now than they are to the players on the team. And that goes for not just Jalen, that goes for all of them. Like they're looking like they're building a couple year plan for Manning.
Yeah.
Like even to Dontavian Wicks, right?
Absolutely.
They traded for that player. They could have just traded a fifth and got the player for the year.
Yeah.
But they extended him for another year. So it does look like they want to give Mannion another year. That's just early. If he falls flat, I'm sure they'll fire him like they did with all the others. But
could this be, Zander, that they're building this offense in a way on how they want this thing to look in 2 years? Okay? In 2 years. Let me finish here. In 2 years, how they want this offense to look. And in that process, this isn't just a Jalen Hurts thing. Maybe Landon Dickerson's a casualty.
Yeah.
Maybe you've got other players in that offense, like Barkley, that could become a casualty. Maybe you have, the Goddard officially moving on. Guys are going to become casualties of what they want this offense to evolve into. And some of the players that they have, you're going to see exiting, because let's be candid, Z, you really can't do that much on offense when you come to upgrading your personnel, except for two positions, tight end and right guard. Everyone else is under anchor contracts.
Which is why I've come around a little bit on Sadiq. I mean, it gives you that, even if it's not as big this year.
Not a rookie deal.
Yeah, right. It gives you that future opportunity to build around somebody. But my concern with Sadiq is, dude, he got 500 yards. I mean, we're talking about a first-round tight end, dude. He had 500 yards at college at Oregon. I mean, that's a pass-happy team.
Remember, I gave you.
I'm not saying he's going to be a bad player, but that's just part of my concern with him.
I got it. And listen, and I did not. As soon as I say this, I know where people are going, but I'm not comparing. Gronk had a horrible college career.
Well, it's a good point. It's a good point in that it doesn't mean it's not the end all be all in terms of Dick.
Like what was Travis Kelce? I don't even remember him at Cincinnati.
I don't either. I don't know.
I
I
think
was
he
younger.
missed the year because he got suspended. I don't even remember him at Cincinnati. I don't even think he had over 600 yards or 400 yards receiving when he was at Cincinnati. So again, I think sometimes, Z, you got to look at, a guy's skill set and go, how is that going to translate into the NFL?
Right.
Now, do you not agree with this? I think with what they're doing, we kind of broached this yesterday. They're not looking to be a power Jeff Stoutland running attack. This looks more like a finesse offense where Sadiq fits into finesse. Now, if you're looking for power, stretch play, running, you got the 2 tackles for that.
I know.
You've got Lane and you've got Mulata for that.
So, dude, would you trade up then for Vega? I mean, I don't disagree with anything you're saying, but dude, that's the guy. If you're worried about Cam or Landon or Steen, who's going to be gone after this year anyway, and
Ask
you need a
yourself,
guard.
what do you think is the most important position in stretch plays? The tackle or the guards?
Well,
setting the edge with the tackles, right?
Probably the tackles. And then wouldn't the center technically be almost more important than the guard in some
Getting
regard?
up on the mic.
Right.
What you're trying to do in a stretch, you want to set the edge on the defensive edge rushers, and you want to get that mic knot and flow and then scrape. You don't want that guy scraping down the line of scrimmage and knocking your guy out.
Yeah, but what if you can't get the tackle, dude? I mean, I guess if I'm saying trade up for Vega, you're saying you'd rather trade up for the tackle.
I'd rather trade up for the tackle because I've got next year to deal with Lane. And you're deep in tackles this year.
Do you think Lane's done after this year?
I think it's all going to come down to how he feels. I'd be begging him to play. That's well, think about this. How long did Jason Peters play? Till what? He's 42?
Yeah, he played a long time.
So they're still begging that guy to play. I think he was active last year at 42.
I know. I think Lane's a little different, man. Jason, I mean, Lane has made a lot of money. God bless him.
No, but I'm saying when you got guys like that, you pray they play.
I know. I agree. I mean, if you have another year where Lane misses 8 games, in a way, it starts to get hard to rely on him as your tackle.
Also, I think the outlier is going to be Chris Cooper and how well he is in connecting with him and how well that thing looks.
Well, I saw Stoutland in a picture. He was at Lane's wedding this weekend. Jeff Stoutland, obviously.
Let me ask you, what do you think is a bigger gamble, Sean Mannion or not having Stoutland in your coaching staff this year?
Well, Mannion's the bigger gamble because it's a more important. I mean, it's a bigger job.
Well, if you're talking about having your run game get better,
I know.
All of a sudden you're talking about not having one of the greatest offensive line coaches.
I know.
Hey, dude, I mean, you got away with Kellen Moore changing up his entire philosophy and running the ball because you had Stoutland and that old line going
That's
crazy.
True. But I don't think Jeff would. I don't think his running game thrives in this stretch zone. That's kind of why he was upset last year.
Have you come around to you understand why they've moved on without him?
No, because I think he just walked away. He look.
So you think he had an ass and he moved off it?
That's what John seems to tell. John seems to insinuate that over and over again. He said, there's ego there. He's been kind of talked about as the best O-line coach for 10 years. That kind of goes to people's heads. And he didn't like when, they kind of took him off the run game. And I get that. But at the same time, I also get the other side. Like if you're Nick Sirianni, you can't tiptoe around that. You're the head coach of the team. If you deem something, again, like I said about Mannion, whether it's right or wrong doesn't matter. You are the head coach, and the buck stops with you. So if you feel you need to make a change, you can't let an offensive line coach or a running game coordinator stop you from making that change.
Tanner, if I've won 2 NFC championships and a Super Bowl, fuck you, sit down and shut up.
Well, Jeff Stoutland could also say I've had, more success.
Really? Of my team. Until your name's on the front door, it says head coach. This is my ball team, guy. This is my ball team. And this is where I agree with Nick. Okay, that's Nick's party, dude. He gets to put up the piñata. He gets to put up the party favors and all that. It's his game, dude.
I mean, I'm with Rasputin here. It's like, dude, these stretch play, I'm concerned on Landon Dickerson this year. Sure. He says these stretch plays are awful for 330-pound middle-aged dude with a foot injury. I mean, now he's talking about Lane Johnson there, but
you're going to rely on your tight ends to really
I'm concerned about Landon too.
Okay, so have you come to the grips life after AJ.
Yeah. Look, how many times have you seen teams move on from receivers? Look, a nice receiver is a luxury. It's not a necessity to make a great football team. That doesn't mean that you don't want to have them, but it's a luxury. The Eagles traded for A.J. Brown when they got their quarterback. They had Devontae Smith on the roster. They had Dallas Goedert. They had all the tight ends. It's a luxury. When the Kansas City Chiefs got more expensive, like every good team does, they got rid of Tyreek Hill. When the Eagles have to pay Jalen Carter and Jordan Davis and Jalen Hurts and all these guys, and you get more, later in their careers, receivers one of the first to cut. Now when you're living good and you got room and space and you people under contract or rookie contracts, yeah, you go and get a receiver. But look, you can thrive without AJ Brown. You can. It's going to be tough. Absolutely. You're going to replace the player? Probably not. Do I think it's tough with this offense even more so? Yeah, I do. But I think they'll be all right.
So let me ask here. I'm going to go here with this. To your point, and I'm going to make your point here. 2024, when you won the Super Bowl, what do you think AJ Brown was ranked in targets that year?
In what year?
24.
Probably low. That was the year he had like 70 catches, right? 105. He probably had
almost 100. He was 97th.
97th in targets?
Yep.
No way.
I just looked it up. I'm looking at it right now.
No, wait. Is that possible?
97th?
2000. That's like wide receiver 3. That's like wide receiver 4.
2024 regular season targets. Jamar Chase had 175. Malik Neighbors had 170. Drake London had 158. A.J. Brown he had 97. He was 43rd. He was almost 50th in targets. 50th.
Still low.
And you're paying that guy $32 million.
That's what I mean. I mean, you can make an argument even without the the
he was not 24th.
Even without the drama, you can make an argument it's not the best use of funds for the Philadelphia Eagles right now. You could make that argument pretty easily.
The point is that he was a decoy in 24. When you're 43rd in targets, okay? You're 43rd. He had 67 catches. You're right, that year.
That's so low for AJ Brown. 67 catches. He's 100. He should be a 100 catch guy every year.
Had 67 catches, 97 targets for 1,079. Ranked him 43rd.
67 catches.
Hunter Henry had more targets.
Dude.
Josh Downs had more targets.
Dude, let me look at this real quick. Dude, Puka Nacua had 130 catches last year. Catches, not targets. Catches.
And that is a West Coast offense that plays along the slot. Y, Z.
Yeah, but my point is that's double AJ Brown. Double.
Yeah. Yes.
Ooh. Holy
and by the way, they dumped the volume that year because they hung their hat on one side of the ball. I'm going to say it one more time to you, Z. 2024 was a complete detriment to the balance of the team. And now they're playing catch up.
Yeah, but I don't really give a shit, dude.
Then I'm with you. I wouldn't have changed this year either. I would have rolled it back.
I'm just saying, like, I'm not going to sit here and be like, cry for AJ Brown because he didn't get the target. We won a Super Bowl. AJ, you can take your yards and stuff it up your ass, dude. I don't give a rat's ass.
But see, when you say that, though, then you look at what they're doing with the style of guys they're bringing in and the coaches that they're bringing in. And AJ says this to you. Okay, well, you know what? If you want to keep winning and doing all the things you did, Zander, here we're doing things we've never done before in our entire career. Now, I heard you say something to John.
He did miss games. That's right, Andy. Good point. He missed 4 games. That's significant.
Yeah, but you're telling me, Zander, okay, that you believe in your heart that they're not going to change as much as what it looks like they're going to do.
It just doesn't make a lot of sense, dude. I mean, it doesn't fit your quarterback.
I don't think it makes sense to hire a guy right after you just hired a guy who's never had experience in the offensive coordinator. I don't think To me, this comes to this fact. You can agree or disagree with this. Bro, don't you think the real offensive coordinator in that room is Nick?
I guess.
Because if you're hiring somebody that's never done it 2 years in a row, I hear John say it all the time. Those guys are going to call the plays. It's their play call. It's their game. How in God's name do you hire people that have never done shit before? It just, that you can't make sense of it. You just can't make sense of this. And you're the only one that I would agree with when you say there's no way they're changing this offense. You believe they're not changing it.
It's not that I don't believe they're changing it. I don't know that I believe they're going to the degree we think they're going to go. It just doesn't add up. I mean, you're gonna put Jalen in a scheme that doesn't make sense for his skill set as a player. It doesn't make sense for Barkley's skill set as a player. You pointed out yesterday, it doesn't really make all that much sense for AJ Brown's skill set as a player. I think he could do it, but I don't think it accentuates his talent to the best of their abilities. So it doesn't make a lot of sense. And that's why I said to you, I feel like we're going to learn pretty quick if they're more committed to the coaching staff or the players of this team. Because if you come in here with a scheme and you try and run that scheme by any means necessary and you're irrelevant to the talent that you have on the roster, then what does that show you? It shows you that they're not building it around the players they have. They're building it around a scheme. That's kind of what Shanahan does. That's kind of what these other guys do, who are committed to schemes and they get players out and bring players in.
Plug and play.
Right. I don't think it's the right move. I don't, but we'll see. I do have some optimism that there will be a meshing of the concepts, if you will. I don't think it's got to be so black and white where it's either all, power run scheme, no throws, 29th to 30th in attempts and all running, and I don't think it has to be all West Coast. I think it can be a hybrid. I mean, somebody keeps bringing up in our chat the Doug Peterson approach. I think that's a good approach. Sean Payton, somebody brought that up this morning. Maybe that's the way, try and find where to get Jalen in a way that allows him to be successful while also bringing variation to your offense so that you don't look stale and stagnant and repetitive and predictable every week,
Were you at Alabama when they benched Hurts?
Yep. I was at Innisfree, the bar down the street of the Strip, filled to the gills for the national championship. I remember when he walked out, the whole bar gasped when Tua walked out at halftime. I remember it like it was yesterday.
Okay. Well, give me an education. Why did they bench him?
Couldn't move the ball through the air. I think he had 17 passing yards in the first half. Georgia was stacking the box, took away the run, took away his mobility with his legs, and the Bama had all those receivers. Nick Saban said it 100 times. We felt the best way to win that game was to move the ball through the air.
Everything you just said.
I know it's true today.
It sounds like 2025.
I know. You think I don't know that? I know that.
I mean, what year was that?
2018? I think 18.
It's like 8 years ago.
By the way, he was at the time, for those who don't know, and this is why I've been a huge Jalen Hurts fan my whole life. I mean, he was 26-2 as a starter. Now, Bama wins a lot of games. They won a lot of games with Bryce Young. They won a lot of games with Mac Jones. They won a lot of games with everybody. But, if you remember, and I don't know who follows Alabama football as closely as I do, but before that year started, Jalen had come in not that year, the year prior. Jalen had come in as a freshman. Nick Saban had never started a freshman ever in his career as coach. And Blake Barnett and what was the other guy's name? Fucking Cooper. Was it Cooper something? Blake Barnett and who? I forget who it was. 2016, Blake Barnett was battling with another name. And all through the offseason, for the Alabama football team, everybody was talking about who's Saban going to play, Blake Barnett or the other guy. I'm blanking on his name. If there's any Bama fans in the chat, help me out. And then at that game, I was at that game. It was in Jerry's World in Dallas, Texas in September, my freshman year of college. And we drove to Dallas. And I remember being in the stadium and Jalen Hurts tried it out. And we were like, what the hell? Like, nobody expected Jalen Hurts to start because Nick Saban had never done it, which I think speaks to the volume that Jalen has as well, where he comes in and, for Nick Saban to go out on a limb and make you the first freshman player he's ever started, I thought spoke a lot about him as a player. So that's how it started. And then he kind of took off and went 26-2. I loved him. I still loved him after they benched him. I loved him when he went to Oklahoma. So I still love him today. But that doesn't mean I don't see some of the problems he has, passing the ball. It can be an issue.
So Nick didn't take winning into consideration whatsoever. He was 26-2. You think the Eagles are taking that approach too? I don't give a shit how much he's won. If you don't follow along with us evolving the offense, we're going to change you, dude. If Nick Saban, dude, you sat the Southeastern Conference Player of the Year. He got you to a title game. And winning didn't matter with Saban. He benched his ass. Is that kind of what the Eagles are doing right now also? That if this guy doesn't evolve this offense.
That's different. I mean, Saban benched him for a half.
He never got his job back.
I know, but remember, that it's different. It's college. Tua was a five-star recruit out of Hawaii. He was a five-star recruit. So
that's right. You don't have a five. You don't have a
first back, but that was different.
Wait, you're missing the mentality of a coach. I'm talking about the mentality of the coach, and I'm talking about the mentality of winning here. Nick did not give a shit how much winning he did. He sat that kid down because the only reason he had, you know why? Unlike the Eagles in the NFL, yeah, you're right. It's not the same. You know why? You don't have a first-round pick sitting on the bench.
Right. That's my point. But yeah, I get your point.
Round Tanner McKee sitting on the bench.
Yeah, I get your point. I get your
So
point.
are the Eagles not in that same place where Saban was now? I don't give a shit how much winning you had, kid. If you can't move the ball through the air, which he has not been able to 4 of the 5 years he's been the quarterback, do you think this is where the organization and the coaching staff and the general manager are right now? They're in that crossroads. That article is a perfect example of Jalen Hurts' career at Alabama. He was in a crossroads with Tua. Was he not?
Well, he was, but it's different. I mean,
and he never got his job back.
I know, but in the heat of the moment, it wasn't about the future. It was about that given game,
which turned out to be his future.
It turned out to be because, remember, again, though, you can't leave out that there was a 5-star recruit rating. And yes, thank you for people in the chat. It was Cooper.
So the only reason that Hurts isn't benched is because you don't have a 5-star recruit behind him now.
It's not fucking college, Sills. It's not.
I'm talking about the mentality of winning. I'm not talking about levels.
Nobody in the NFL has that mentality because they can't.
That's right.
So what's your point?
My point is they're in a position right now as an organization. I don't give a fuck how much you've won. If you don't evolve this offense, you're out.
Well, maybe that's what they're doing.
I'll tell you what. I think the personnel, the hiring of the coaches, the conversations that we're hearing, the moving off of Stoutland, all of this speaks to what I just said.
Maybe you're right, dude. I can't dispute it all that easily. Looks like it. But I don't. Where I differ with you
and John on this. I'm with you and John on this. I can't believe it either.
This is where I differ from you, though. I don't think they're doing it with the full intent to get rid of Jalen Hurts. I think they just want him to evolve. Yeah.
Wait.
Like, I think they still want to pay Jalen, but they got to.
Yes.
You know? Yeah. Like, I don't think they're doing it. Okay, let's make Jalen fail. That's not.
Do you think Nick Saban was praying that Jalen failed at Alabama? No way. No way.
But again, we're back to the NFL versus college thing.
Okay.
You got to play it differently in the NFL, though. Don't you agree?
I'm talking about a coach looking at a kid going, this kid's 26-2, Southeastern Conference Player of the Year. I'm going with the guy behind him because I have a 5-star recruit behind him. The only reason that you don't have a talented guy behind. Hey, by the way, you kind of did that with Wentz. You had a 5-star recruit behind Wentz, and you went with him.
Yeah, he did. Wasn't quite 5-star, but yeah. Second rounder.
So, well, That's a pretty high pick.
Well, I can assure you they're not taking a quarterback in the first 3 rounds this year.
No, I'm not. That's not what I'm telling you is I think these coaches, man, are doing this now. Zander, you don't get this thing moving. I think you're right. I think you hit on something today that nobody's really hitting on a lot. You know what that is?
What's that?
I think they're more vested in the coaching staff.
I think we still got to see that come to fruition, dude. Because remember, I understand it looks like that right now. But, dude, don't forget the optics of this team with coaching staffs. They will fire that coaching staff
They will.
so fast you won't even be able to blink.
They got a history of it.
Exactly. They have a bigger history of that than they do of turning over quarterbacks. Donovan McNabb was here for 13 years. Michael Vick was here for an extended period of time. Carson Wentz was kind of the one-off. Didn't work, fell apart, and they got rid of him when it fell to shit. And by the way, they didn't even want to get rid of him. They wanted Nick Sirianni to come in and coach Carson. Carson wanted out.
Do you believe Howie Roseman and the way he builds a roster that Howie Roseman in his heart of hearts really likes Nick Sirianni like he likes Jalen Hurts, but he would move on from Nick in 10 seconds knowing that he is the guy and the reason why the Eagles win, that he'll put another guy in there because you said it about 10 minutes ago. Hey, you know what? They have shown that they'll move off of coaches in 5 seconds. To me, that speaks to what you just said, where you went like you said it 5 seconds ago.
I know, but I think it's the owner. I don't think it's Howie. I don't think Howie holds that thought process.
Wait. How do you think Howie looks at Nick and the coaching staff a year ago?
Right.
Hold on. How do you think Howie Roseman looks at the coaching staff of a year ago, and how they handled his roster a year ago? What do you think he would give the coaching staff a year ago on how that staff handled his roster?
It's a good question. I think in a perfect world, he doesn't concern himself with that because it's not his job. But that's a perfect world, and we don't live in a perfect world, as you all know. Yeah, I think he's probably upset. But people aren't going to like this comment, but I think with the way you phrased that question, I think Howie would apply that more to the players than he would to Nick.
And that's to your comment of buying in more with the coaches.
Yeah, but that's on Lurie. That's not on Howie. Lurie is the guy who will fire a coach and won't think twice about it, not Howie.
So who do you think fired Doug, the owner or Howie?
The owner fired Doug. 100% the owner fired Doug.
I thought there was a battle on playing Wentz and not playing Wentz between Howie and...
Well, potentially there was, but the owner fired Doug Peterson. 100%. 100%.
So then the owner would be responsible for benching Hurts.
Well, it's again, it kind of falls perfect.
Not the owner. No, not the head coach.
Howie's responsible for the roster, which is why I said what I said. Howie believes, rightfully so, because he's proven it, he can change out key pieces of the roster and have great success still. The coaching, though, is not necessarily in Howie's purview.
Okay. Say that again, that you think Howie is in control of the roster.
Right, he is.
Do you think Howie Roseman is in control of the roster on game day?
I don't know. I don't know. Is that as important as we think?
Yeah.
Why? Because
there's incentives involved. Players don't play.
But my point to you is the 22 starters are the 22 starters. Like 49 to 53, maybe Howie chooses for roster reasons, but how much impact does that actually have on a football game? Marginal.
Okay. So do you think Howie Roseman and the owners were very happy with when Vic said, hey, Bradbury at $18 million or $13 million, sit your fucking ass down? They're okay with that?
I don't know. They're going to have to take that up with him. I don't know how they felt about that.
I can promise you this. If you pay him, you play him.
Not to Vic.
I get it. I get it here. All right. So Elliot Wolf made a comment today. Doors open for AJ.
Oh, good. Let's see what you can get.
Look at you don't. You're sick of it, right?
It's not that I'm sick of it. What do you want me to respond? Elliot Wolf said he wants to get his team better. Congratulations. First round pick.
Hmm.
I don't think the Eagles are going to get a first round pick, which means I think they're going to keep AJ. But who knows what they're going to do?
Why would you keep a guy who doesn't want to be here?
I don't know, Sileo.
Oh, now it's Sileo.
Howie's stubborn. He doesn't want to lose the trade. But how many months ago did I tell you Howie's not going to want to lose this trade?
Oh
I told you months ago Howie's not going to want to lose this trade. If they're not giving a 1, he's not going to do it.
Howie's lost the trade anyway.
If he gets a 1 back, bro, Howie didn't lose shit. He traded the 1 for AJ. If you get a 1 back for that guy.
And then he turns around and brings us in Jalen Rager. He'll lose that draft. He'll lose that. There's nobody in this. Well, okay. 2 and a 3.
That's a crock of shit. No, I'm not taking the deal. Why would Howie take that deal? What does a 2 and a 3 make the Eagles better?
Okay, here. How are you going to convince? Okay, so
wait. A 2 and a 3 and a $40 million dead cap hit. How is he going to be like, dude, go kick rocks. Go kick sand.
So you're going to keep him on the bench with a player who doesn't want to go along.
You're not going to put him on the bench. No. You're telling me you're eating up this Elliott Wolf comment?
Folks, you know what I'm going to tell you here? Zander's trying to tell you this. So you got 6 guys in a boat rowing in one direction. One guy's rowing the other way.
Wait. You're putting words in my mouth. I never said that. I said Howie doesn't want to lose the trade.
You've lost it already.
No, he didn't.
Okay. So then get this. If you don't move him this year, you ain't getting a 1 for him ever again in your entire existence with him. It'll be 2s and 4s. Maybe a 3 and a 4.
You'd be lucky to get a 2 next year.
Yeah.
Well,
AJ's a 1 year. AJ's here 1 year minimum.
Max.
I mean, yes. Max. Damn, dude.
Look at Theo. Fucking Theo. Theo, you always got to give me shit. Watching Z go through the 5 stages of grief.
Uh-huh.
Come on, Theo! Come on, man.
Hey, give me a grade on Howie's offseason so far. How you think it's gone?
Not that good. I don't think it's been that good. I mean, what has he really done in the offseason to, I don't know. Everybody check in.
Roster
I don't
building.
think it's been that great. Huh?
Roster building.
I think it's been a C minus. I like the Tariq Woolen move. I actually like the Dontavian Wicks move.
I actually do too.
I mean, I like that better than going into the draft.
In what they want to do.
I think that's a better insurance policy for potentially losing AJ than drafting a guy in round 2 or 3. So
18 days. Do you believe in 19? Wait a minute. What is it? 9 days from the draft.
Bob's on your ass like white on rice. Sileo's setting up his content for next offseason. Bob, the funny part about that comment is it's true. Sileo will be thinking years out. He's years out. He's thinking that's what he's thinking about when he shreds Jalen Hurts every day. In 5 years they'll all be shredding Jalen Hurts.
All this. Hey, in 9 days, the draft is coming up. After the draft on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, will Nolan Smith be a member of the Philadelphia Eagles, or would they have packaged him up in a trade for draft picks or a potential player, knowing full well in 18 days you've got a $14.5 million cap or a $14.5 million decision on a 5th-year option with him?
I think he's a trade candidate, but I think he'll be here.
So you're picking that 14.
They're going to pick the 5th-year option. 100%. Dude, it's like $15 million. Have you seen what edge rusher? Dude. Are you saying that because it's cheap?
I'm saying that because the kid hasn't shown me that he could play a full season.
15 million beanbags?
So, okay. Well, here, let me ask you this. If you're going to pick that 5th-year option up and pay $15 million or $14 million for that and pay a receiver $12.5, you didn't have a little bag of money left for Nakobe?
Dude, well,
so do you agree?
Linebacker in the first fucking round, Sills.
Do you
agree?
Not
going to pay Nakobe. I love Nakobe. I wanted them to pay him.
Do you agree that at the beginning of the 2025 season, they had already decided they were moving on from him? That was a foregone conclusion.
Yes.
Because of Campbell.
Nakobe knew that. Anybody listen to him at his final interview of the year in the locker room? He knew it. It's business.
Business. Okay. Hey, I'm just here for the popcorn and soda. That's all I'm here for, man.
Is that all you're here for?
Hey, I'm just here for the. How about that bullshit press conference that Howie said that?
Yeah.
We got a
player.
Dabney,
this is a win for Dabney. He says, just got a little break. Why does my timeline say Russini chick got the can? That's a good break for Dabney at work. He's going back to work smiling after that one, I'm sure.
Oh, man. So what do you make of that? Diana Russini getting canned?
Bro, I mean, it's the,
it's the right
you're an adult.
It's the right thing to do.
We're adults, and there's consequences to our actions, every single one of us. And you know that better than most, especially in this business. So, it is what it is. Again, I'm done ragging on her. I think I probably ragged on her too hard last week.
No, you didn't.
Yeah, I did a little bit. I did a little bit. I don't want to profess to be, the guy who cast the stones from a glass house. I understand I came off like that in some ways last week. So it's unfortunate the way it unfolded. But look, I think forget the morality. There's an ethical part that she broke. And I think that's what ultimately costed her. Right. I mean, so it is what it is. Good riddance to her.
Trust.
Yeah. Like I said, I mean, that doesn't change that I won't be listening to any of her reporting anymore. So
how about the fact that not one person in Boston asked Elliot Wolf a question about their relationship? Not one question.
Guys, if you ever want to know how bought and sold the reporters are for the football teams, I want you to think about that for a second, guys. Reporters of the Patriots,
Boston Globe and Herald,
did not ask a question about that. I want you to really think about the job of a reporter, not a talk show, a reporter. And then think about not asking that question once. That is that they're all in bed with the Patriots.
Oh yeah, that's not a Philly issue anymore.
That's crazy. I mean, it's
an NFL control issue. So Zander, you tell me, now that the NFL owns 10% of ESPN, you mean to tell me you don't think they control content now going on ESPN?
Oh, they do, of course.
So that's just not like, again, you're not doing your jobs, dude.
Yeah, no, they don't.
That's why our network, again, why people have asses with our network is because what we do here is we just talk about the facts.
You want to get Diana on your show?
I might try to. I got her. You got her number 2 now.
Yeah, I don't think she's going to be very happy if she searches my name and what I said about her last week.
Well,
I wasn't very nice to Diana. I regret it. I do.
You have her number now. You have her cell phone number.
I fucking took a shit on her, and I shouldn't have.
Why?
Because it's what I said. Throwing stones from a glass house. I ain't fucking perfect. I got my own problems.
Wait a second. That's not personal. Hey, you're banging someone to get information?
Well, I didn't say that you should go and do it. I'm just thinking about me personally. That's all.
Yeah. That's all. Hey, however you get your info, man. I mean,
think of Bob Brown. Sounds like a lot of guys got that number.
A lot of NFL dudes.
Yeah, Bob, it's not a real valuable one for me, man. It's not a real valuable one for me.
Hey, Z, 2 last questions here for you.
All right. Come on, man. It's fucking 80 degrees outside. I want to watch your show from the garage.
All right. I'm going to do this here for you. Did you see that they were talking about shorts? Hey, Sue, they were talking about shorts at the beginning of the press conference. Where do you think they got that from, Sue? How you doing? Big Sills. Mafia Dons don't wear shorts. Head coaches in NFL don't
Well,
wear
what about Skinny Joey? He goes down to Florida and golfs in shorts.
Who?
Skinny Joey. That's a motherfucking badass dude.
Oh, is that the Mafia guy?
Yeah, that's yeah. Allegedly.
Yeah. What is he now? Sells donuts or something? I know he's got a bar down there.
He's bad. I kind of like. You know who I love?
I'm trying to get him
I
on.
love Snuff. Lil Snuff. I don't know if you've ever heard of Lil Snuff. He is fucking hilarious. I watch his reels, dude, on Instagram.
Hey, I'm trying to get Joe on through Howard Eskin. Howard knows him.
Oh, he was on. Howard, he had him on. Joe would be great on your show, man.
Yeah, I'm trying to get that guy.
I'm a Merlino guy. I'm a Merlino fan.
Yeah.
But I get it. People don't like him because there's a lot of shit tied to him.
Yeah, no. He goes like this. He goes.
I'm into that shit though, dude. I loved watching I watch like documentaries of all of the the old mobster stuff, back in Philly in the 80s and the 90s and the early 2000s. I love that. I love the families in New York. I'm interested in it. I always have been.
You want me to give you a little? I'll tell you because my
be careful.
I will.
That's not really one to mess with,
I can't say it too loud because my wife doesn't like me to say this too much. But so check it out. So when I was younger, I knew Gotti Jr. He follows me on he follows me on my X account, right? So when I was at Miami, he goes, "My father loves you. My pop loves you," and I'm like, because he loved Vinny too. So we go up to Howard Beach. We go up to Howard Beach, and it was 4th of July. He puts the fireworks on. Out comes John Gotti. I'm like, holy shit. Vinny's like, is that John? I go, yeah, that's John Gotti. And Junior takes us over to dude. Had sat down. We're at the Ravenite Social Club. That was his hangout. It was the Ravenite. Then we go over to Howard Beach where he lived, his house. We met Victoria. Dude, I know Victoria well.
Oh,
the kid follows me on Twitter. He goes, Sills, I got Vinny to send him a
When did John Gotti die? Early 2000s?
Something like that. Yeah. I've been to the White House and I've been to John Gotti's house.
Look at Elizabeth. You're not that guy, Zay. Come on there, Betty.
Hey, Bet. My wife, she doesn't like me talking about those guys because those guys, my patrons.
Listen, they're fascinating stories. They really are.
Yeah, but I'll tell you this, they're frightening guys.
Yeah, I get it.
Okay.
If you can
the stuff you see on TV.
You can get Merlino on, you should get Merlino.
Hey, the stuff you see on TV? Yeah, that ain't it.
Yeah, right.
Hey, you know the street cat Zander's got 3 years to live. That's kind of what you have if you're in that thing. You ain't got a long lifeline in that thing, man. I mean, it's not what people think. I mean,
these guys want me to watch that movie where I just saw Sig chirping. Yeah, Sig, I'm gonna watch that one. Is that the one with the gangs in New York? Is that the one? What's the one with? You know what I saw recently, Sig? I saw The Bronx Tale recently. That was a banging movie,
dude. Oh my God, you liked it? I know Chaz Palminteri. My aunt knows. I know Chaz Palminteri.
That was a hell of a movie.
You know who introduced me to him? Sid Rosenberg. Sid knows him really well.
I gotta watch Gangs in New York. I'll watch it.
Yeah. So Chaz Palminteri, that's really after a mafia guy.
Yeah, I know. I know the whole the story. I read all about it after I watched the movie. It was a hell of a movie.
Yeah. And so Chaz Palminteri, he does a one-man show for Bronx Tale.
Yeah. Chaz Palminteri is amazing.
Yeah, he is, man. And by the way, he wrote that. He wrote Bronx Tale, and he put a role in there for what's his name?
They all snitched. Look at Francesi. I've seen his podcast, Rasputin. I've seen his podcast.
Yeah,
Francesi and
he's
Sammy. Sammy the Bull. Sammy the Bull snitch. I get a kick out of him. Just type in Joey Merlino calling out rats. It's I literally will belly laugh for 5 minutes 5 minutes straight. It's so funny listening to him call out the rats.
And so the guy goes on podcasts now, Sammy the Bull.
Yeah, he's on podcast. He's all over on YouTube. They're all on YouTube, dude.
And I'm like, dude, I think it's because the federal government hacked that thing up in New York so much there's just not enough guys to go after. Relax, Bet. I'm not going to go any more into it. Don't worry about it.
Super, dude. It's 75. It's 80 degrees here.
All right.
I
Let's
love
go to
you, but like I
Supers.
don't want to talk
Let's
to you
go
for
to
an hour
Supers.
and 48 minutes right now.
Let's go. Do the Supers. By the way, Jason Cole at 5:30. We're going to talk to him about Diana Russini.
Kimberly,
Hey,
new
Kimberly,
member.
thank you.
Kimberly, she's been a member for a while. Just re-upped
Yep.
on YouTube.
Yep.
Intern says the Eagles drafted Mannion. They took a risk. He's an unknown good. Let's just wait and see. That's not good sports talk, but good business. Intern. Leon says breaking. Diana Russini has resigned. LOL.
There's another girl off the desk for you there, Leon.
Here's 4 Verts Pump. Yo, fellas, how y'all feel about Diana Russini blaming the fans and media for her having to step down? Dog, what the F going on in 26? Wild statement. I didn't read it yet.
Wait a second. Hey, Brian, did she post that?
She posted a statement. I didn't read it yet. You want me to read it on the show?
Yeah, I want to read
right,
it.
Here it is. It's kind of long. All right, I'll read it. I haven't read this yet, so bear with me. Dear Steven, this is to Steven Ginsburg, the executive editor of The Athletic. Dear Steven, please accept this letter as my resignation from The Athletic, effective immediately. I have come to this decision with deep sadness, but with clarity about what is right for me, my family, and the work I have spent my career building. You and I have already publicly addressed the recent attacks against me, and I have nothing to add publicly to what we have said. I have covered the NFL with professionalism and dedication throughout my career, and I stand behind every story I have ever published. When the page 6 item first appeared, The Athletic supported me unequivocally, expressed confidence in my work, and pride in my journalism. For that, I am grateful. In the days that followed, unfortunately, commentators in various media have engaged in self-feeding speculation that is simply unmoored from the facts. Moreover, this media frenzy is hurtling forward without a regard for the review process The Athletic is trying to complete. It continues to escalate, fueled by repeated leaks, and I have no interest in submitting to a public inquiry that has already caused far more damage than I am willing to accept. Rather than allowing this to continue, I have decided to step aside now, before my current contract expires on June 30th. I do so not because I accept the narrative that has been constructed around this episode, but because I refuse to lend it further oxygen or to let it define me or my career. Over a career spanning more than 15 years in sports journalism at NBC, ESPN, and The Athletic, I have built a body of work I am proud of. I have broken stories, earned the trust of sources across the league, and been guided by the highest standards of professional conduct. That record speaks for itself. I remain grateful to The Athletic for the extraordinary colleagues with whom I have worked there, for the platform it provided, and for the support you showed me during this difficult time. I wish you nothing but continued success. Sincerely, Diana Russini.
Cry me a fucking river.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Whatever. Cry me a river, dude.
Yeah, I'm with
Don't I have no sympathy for that.
I don't either, but
dude, let me tell you something. If I knew I was innocent, I'm not surrendering shit. I'm not surrendering nothing, dude. I'm going down with the boat.
I agree.
I think what you did there was you put more fuel on the can there, man, where people are going to throw more fuel on this thing.
Well, I agree, but she's also talking about, she's talking about social media. She's not talking about reporters. I told you this yesterday.
Yeah.
I have notifications on for every single big NFL reporter that covers the league. Every one of them. Ian Rappaport, Adam Schefter, all of them. Tom Pelissero. Not one of them posted.
Look at what Boston did. They didn't even ask him a question.
One of them posted about it. So the mainstream media did not pile on at all. But
you think they forced her out?
I don't know. I think she might have. It's probably a lot. I mean, dude, think about it. It's probably a lot at her home.
You think there's more coming out that she wants?
I don't know, maybe, but I'm just saying in general. I mean, it's probably a lot going on right now for her to deal with her family, with her kids. And again, I'm not saying it's not brought on by herself. I'm not saying she should not have that. I'm just saying it's probably a very contested time in her life, and maybe she made the decision. Maybe she'll regret the decision. But
her husband's probably getting shit on big time, and the kids and all that. It's not.
Absolutely.
That is where I'm with you on it. That's terrible.
Because blame the fans, though, to me is come on, it's stupid. Here we go.
Blame social media.
We got more supers. I want to address one comment here. One comment from my boy Eduardo. Scarface is the GOAT, better than Bronx Tale and Gangs of New York. Now that I agree with Eduardo.
I love that.
Freaking love Scarface. Anytime the opportunity to watch Scarface comes up, I'll do it.
Bro, Brian De Palma made that movie. It is my favorite. Hey, Godfather 1 and 2 and Scarface are my 3 favorite mob movies.
Well, I watched Scarface and then I play the Meek Mill song. Yeah, Tony Montana. Tony Montana. I love it.
I'll tell you what, I like The Departed too.
Oh, The Departed's excellent. I've seen that. That's awesome.
I mean,
awesome.
I dig that movie.
A little bit of a different style one.
Yeah.
Not as old school, obviously.
Yeah.
All right, here, a couple more. So we got the pumpers. Thank you, Pump. G-Lo says, Diana Russini resigned. We saw this. All right, we got a lot of these. Markham says, Russini blamed us fans for resigning. What a loser. Yeah, I kind of think that was a loser.
Completely agree.
Russini taking no accountability in her statement. Markham, not a fan. We're adults. You got to take responsibility for your actions. That goes for you, Markham. That goes for Russini. It goes for me. It goes for everybody. Young Prophet says, Blake Barnett was supposed to be the guy at Bama and was replaced by Hurts. Correct. Hurts lost his job to Tua the same way, replaced in the game. Yep.
Where did Blake Barnett?
I don't think he did much after that. I think he transferred and then didn't do shit.
I don't remember
Kansas
that.
State, maybe he went. I forget where he went. I think he went to Kansas State.
Yeah,
he went to Arizona State and then South Florida.
Okay, yeah, I don't remember him.
He played like half of that first game. Him and Jalen.
Was he a high recruit?
Blake Barnett? I don't think so.
Man,
maybe a four star, maybe.
Dude,
5-star recruit.
Wow, Jesus.
Yep, 5-star recruit. He redshirted his freshman year and then was supposed to start in 2016. That's when Hurts took his job.
Who were the 5 guys first round that could start, not sandbox players? I'll do that tomorrow, Kyle.
They're all at the top, dude.
They're all that's right.
I think the closest one the Eagles could get would be the guard.
Penn State kid.
Yeah.
You know what you got to hope for? The Eagles have to hope for? The Eagles have to hope for chaos above them in the draft. You got to hope for some chaos. Ty Simpson goes higher than you think. A couple more runs. Here's what you should hope for, Zander, is that wide receivers, there's a big run on receivers, and you got a little chaos going on with Ty Simpson above you, so you can get maybe the Sadiq kid. Do you think that if he falls to like 18, do you think Howie would jump up to 18th from 23?
I could see 18th because he wouldn't have to give up crazy for that. He could give up like 120 or something like that.
Yeah, he wouldn't have to go crazy there. Yep.
Yeah, I could see that. I don't think he goes up too high, though. We'll see. All right, Sills, good show, man.
All right, my friend, I appreciate you very much. Thank you so much. Jason Cole's going to join us in a couple of minutes. We're going to talk to him about Diana Russini, and we'll get his thoughts and takeaways. We'll continue more of our conversation. Big Z, catch you in the morning. Thank you, big brother.
Later, brother. I appreciate you, man. See you, Sills.
You got it, man. That's my friend, Zander Krause there. Let's pay some bills here. We're going to get our friend at the bottom of the hour. We're going to get Jason Cole on, my great friend at Morgan & Morgan, the #1 injury law firm in all of America for a reason, guys. It is because they win. I tell you about the family in Pennsylvania here that initially got $650K. They got nearly $30 million in a settlement because of the lawyers at Morgan & Morgan. The family down in Florida was initially offered $350,000. They ended up getting nearly $12 million in a settlement. This will be the easiest decision you ever make in your life. Do me a favor. Go to forthepeople.com/big sales or pound law 529. That's forthepeople.com/big sales or pound law 529. And do me a favor. You tell them Big Sales sent you.
There's a reason Detective Johnson is the gossip king.
Oh, did you hear? Jackie and Tom
are getting a divorce? Mm-hmm. Sad.
Well, I heard that Ashley
had work done on her face? Yeah, oof.
Just like there's a reason Morgan & Morgan is America's largest injury law firm. Injured? With over $25 billion recovered for our clients, there's a reason to go big.
Bathroom? Okay.
Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm.
Oh, okay.
Ignite your nights with free live entertainment daily, only at Live Casino and Hotel Philadelphia's Center Bar. 7 days a week, enjoy some of the region's top party bands, performers, and DJs as they take the stage in the heart of the casino action. Great cocktails, live music, and lively moments. It's all happening at Center Bar at Live Casino and Hotel Philadelphia. Visit livecasinophilly.com for more details and the complete list of upcoming events. Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
This is Eric. When he got injured in a car accident, he called Morgan & Morgan. He not only gets a lawyer, he gets trial lawyers like Sam and Jessica, who are in it to win it. He gets his own investigators with briefcases, leather ones. And if you ever have questions, our customer service folks keep things rolling. Injured? We're your army. Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm.
Welcome to the Jet Setters and the High Rollers, to the Shot Takers and the Tastemakers. Welcome to the Viewfinders, the Thrill Seekers, and the Night Owls. Welcome to everything you could possibly want on one 5-mile island. Welcome to the Wildwoods. Book your stay today.
In our hometown, we all look out for each other. We go the extra mile to lend a helping hand. We step up to keep our communities going strong. And at Independence Blue Cross, we're here to keep you going strong. We've been deeply rooted in our communities for more than 85 years. And that connection to members has earned us our spot as the #1 health insurer in the region. So while you look out for your neighbors, know IBX is always looking out for you.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on Sports Grid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on Sports Grid.
EAGLES. Eagles.
Big Sales here, National Football Show. We're going to talk to Jason Cole at the bottom of the hour. Hey, Sills, not sure you played with World Breakers at quarterback. What did Gary Stevens do that brought success on offense? Do you think they are parallels to the Eagles situation right now? Remember something, Reyes. Gary Stevens, he's talking about the offensive coordinator that we had at the University of Miami, who ended up going on to becoming an offensive coordinator for Dan Marino when he was with the Miami Dolphins. Got to remember what he had. He had Michael Irvin. He had Eddie Brown. He had Brian Blades. He had, who else was a Pro Bowler? He had Cineris Moss. Every single one of those guys that I just mentioned went on to become Pro Bowlers. So, and he also had Bernie Kosar and Vinny Testaverde and Jim Kelly. So the talent level that Gary Stevens had and the fact that he ran a pro-styled offense where colleges back then weren't running pro-style offenses, and he had a running game. Alonzo Highsmith was the third player taken in the NFL draft in 1987. He's the highest drafted running back out of the University of Miami. Every single wide receiver that was on my 86 and 87 team would go on to make All-Pro. So he had Pro Bowl and All-Pro wide receivers and Hall of Famers. So the talent level at the University of Miami at that time was at an all-time high. Every single wide receiver from the 86-87 team made Pro Bowl. And one guy was a Hall of Fame player. And Testaverde threw for 50,000 passing yards. Jim Kelly was a Hall of Fame player. And Bernie Kosar went to 3 AFC championship games in a row. So there's a difference there in talent level too. Okay. And Stevens was a pro, and he was a pro-style passing attack guy. He was a vertical guy. Sean Mannion has nothing in common with Gary Stevens. Nothing. Zero. There's nothing in common. Stevens was an offensive coordinator for 25 years. I feel we have the tools. You don't have the quarterback. You don't have Jim Kelly, Bernie Kosar, or Testaverde. Hurts has none of those skill sets. You think that Jalen Hurts has the same skill set as Jim Kelly? You think Jalen Hurts is Jim Kelly? Reyes, do you really think that Hurts has the same skill as Jim Kelly? Sills, would you take out of who would you take out of Edgerrin James, Portis, McGahee, or Gore? By the way, they were pretty much all on the same team. I'd take Edgerrin. Edgerrin was the better player. At least didn't. Dude, hey, my friend, Jalen Hurts will never, ever in a billion years, ever be in the conversation with Jim Kelly. Kelly 0-4 in a Super Bowl. Yeah, man. Really killed it. He did. Jim Kelly's one of the greatest. Oh, wait, intern. So because Sam Darnold won the Super Bowl, he's better than Kelly now, right? Is that your take? That Nick Foles? Here. Nick Foles, Brad Johnson, Trent Dilfer, Jalen Hurts. All of those guys are better than Jim Kelly, in your opinion. Is that right? Hold on. What's the team goal? Is to win a Super Bowl. So, intern, I'll ask you again. All you need to know about intelligence is his answer here. Intern, you believe because Nick Foles, Brad Johnson, and Sam Darnold won a Super Bowl, you think that those guys are better than Jim Kelly? You think that. Is that right? By the way, you know what one of the great things that Jim Kelly was able to do? Jim Kelly ran a balanced offense. He had a Hall of Fame running back, too. You had a Hall of Fame receiver, Hall of Fame running back, and a Hall of Fame coach. Okay, I get it. Winning's the goal. It's a team goal. It's a complete team goal. Yes. There's no way Nick Foles or any of them other guys. Nick Foles won a Super Bowl MVP. He couldn't clean Kelly's shoes or Marino's shoes. Here, if you had to draft these three quarterbacks, who would you draft first? Dan Marino, Jim Kelly, or Jalen Hurts? Who would you draft first? Kelly, Marino, and Hurts. Who would you draft first? How come people don't get the Bulls are team goals? They just won't. They'll never get that. I love listening to these guys, but damn, nobody can be or get good. Give these coaches an opportunity. Why would you give a coach an opportunity in a training? Hey, Brad, so let me ask you this. Why would you hire a training wheels coach? Why would you hire a training wheels coach with a veteran quarterback? Help me out here. Jalen Hurts so trash to be mentioned with those quarterbacks is crazy work. I get it. I mean, Nobody. And by the way, I mean, look at the changing of the guard inside the organization right now. So, Seals, if you're just basing it, on talent, then obviously Marino and Kelly. But who plays a team game better? Hurts, Kelly, Marino? Idiot. Who plays a better team game? You mean who has a better team? I think Kelly had a great team. And I think those guys really not cashing in on one of them, that will always be a regret. But I don't give a shit what you're saying. Jalen Hurts is not a better team player than these other guys. Jalen Hurts is a caboose. These other guys are bus drivers. Marino's a bus driver. Kelly's a bus driver. Hurts is a caboose. Kelly was screwed by his kicker. Holy smokes, idiots. Let's see here. Tremendous player. I actually think also I would put into the conversation that I think Cornelius Bennett belongs in the Pro Football Hall of Fame too. I think Biscuit's one of the truly great players. 6-time Pro Bowler. So and this goes to a great question. Cornelius Bennett lost 5 Super Bowls. Okay? And he's truly one of Brandon Graham wasn't better than this guy. Brandon Graham was not better than Cornelius Bennett. And they played pretty much the same position. And Cornelius Bennett lost 5 Super Bowls. And Cornelius Bennett was, like, a 6-time Pro Bowler. Truly one of the greatest of all time. But because he had 5 losses, people look at that question there. Sills, I've asked a bunch of OGs this question. I've always get a different answer. Which one of those 4 Super Bowls do you think the Bills should have won? That giant Super Bowl, the Norwood missed kick. They should have won that one. That was the one that would have kind of put the cherry on top if they would have won that Super Bowl. You'll never see a team go to 4 Super Bowls ever again, though, and win 4 AFC championship games. That'll never happen. And especially with today's free agency and with salary cap being it is, you'll never see that again. So that's kind of something that, it was pre-free agency, so you'll probably never see that. Seals, the more I hear, the more I think they're drafting a West Coast offensive quarterback like Nussmeier in the 3rd. Maybe. Yes, Bruce Smith, 200 sacks. I think Reggie's at 197. I think he's at 197. Oh, I got to show you guys something. And I figured it out. By the way, I posted it. I got to show you this. Zander, you're going to love this. Hold on here. Let me put this up here. So you want to see something dope? Let me see here. So here it is. So check this out. What did I write down? I think I've showed you guys this, but I found out what the money was. So get this. So let me show you how cool this shit is. So let me write that number down. 116, 272, 48. So listen, look at this. You guys are going to dig this. Okay. So here's this incentive again that I showed you about 2 months ago from the Buccaneers. And this is 40 grand. Hey, Yale. This is from December 21st, 1997. And I think I can bring up 40. It's 15. There it is right there. 25 and 15. Full participation to see, look what it says. Mr. Culverhouse. I sat down with Mr. Culverhouse. We sat down, full participation. This is, get this, from December 21st until January 15th. How many days is that? See that? From December 21st until January 15th of 1998. See that? How many days is that? How many days? This is just for working out. How many days is that? Sue or Kyle, how many days is that from December 21st to January 15th? I would have got 40 grand in 1987. See that? This is just for working out. This is full participation in all season workouts. So how many days is that? What is that? Like a month? 40 days? 30 days? So for 30 days, today's money, I would have made $116,272.48 for 30 days of working out. It's less than a month, Reyes. So that thing is less than a month. From December 21st to January 15th, I'd have made 40 grand. Today's money, it's $116,272.48. Yeah, this was 1987. I met with Mr. Culverhouse. They paid me this under the table. Because when I went to the Bucks, they couldn't put everything up front. Way less than a month, Reyes. So check this out. When I signed with the Bucks, one of the things I promised them I would do, I would scare off other teams because I wanted to play in the state of Florida. I didn't want to leave Florida. Probably my biggest disaster because the Steelers wanted me and the Patriots wanted me. Probably would have went to a better situation. However, I told him, I said, well, you got to give me Jerome's contract. I've got to make money on Jerome's contract. So for them to get it to Jerome's contract, they had to pay me in like off-season workouts. So in less than 30 days, they gave me $120,000 in today's money. That was one of them. There was two other ones. If I lived in Tampa, I got an additional $25,000. If I showed up to like OTAs, I got an additional $15,000. So yeah, they want, because I wanted Jerome's contract. Jerome signed for 3 years, I think 1.9. I signed for 1.78. And Jerome was the 9th pick in the draft. Okay, see this? And if you look at it, let's see here. By the way, it's posted on my X account. Here's the it's from Mr. Culverhouse, and there's the general manager of the team down there, Phil Kruger. Here's what it said, too. This is pretty cool. This just shows you the kind of incentives. It says, Dear Mr. Jose, I was part of the Randy Fatah and Bob Wolf's agency. Per our meeting of Mr. Culverhouse office in Tampa on December 21st, 87, Sileo will receive an incentive check of $25,000 on January 15th of 88. During, he will receive the additional $15,000 upon reporting for preseason camp, which is 30 days. Full participation in the off-season workout program in Tampa Monday through Friday, 5 days a week, in the months of April and May. So it's 2 months. Attendance for the workouts only upon approval by absence from approval, Ray Perkins. In lieu of this, Dan will accept the financial responsibility of residing in Tampa and meeting the above conditions. The $15,000 will be paid in full, which I ended up getting. I got a $15,000 check, which was pretty cool. Can you imagine what that money is today? On guys getting like worked out and the money that those guys make today and how much you just get. Like for any kind of incentives, I got $120,000 in 1987. That wasn't even my contract. And it was for 30 days work. Just working out. The guys today, those incentives, Dude, those incentives must be like $500,000 if you're here for all season workouts. Like when the OTA start, like April, what is it, 6 days? The Eagles got a camp coming up. Every single one of those guys that are on that team, they must get $250,000, $300,000 today. I'm happy for them. I'm saying, I mean, you're like happy for the guys. The guys today must make a shitload of money when it comes to incentives and how much they make. Yeah, my aunt found that letter. Betty Ann's in here. She found that letter. That was just one of my incentives that I got from the Bucks. I think my base salary was $250,000. And so I made that on top of it. So I made like I think because Jerome was going to make $350,000. I think I made $290,000. My contract was a tick below Jerome's. So yeah, the amount of money the guys must make today. Okay. I mean, crazy. Now, Sills did the work and showed up. Hey, dude, back then, when you got incentives like that, they started just putting, the Bucks just started putting, and everyone in the NFL started putting money into the contracts, like right around the late 80s. That's when money started really going in, like to the players, like for off-season workouts and shit. Plus this, get this. I used to get $1,100 a week, like just for working out. I still got a bunch of those checks. I showed you that one check, that incentive I got just for working out from the Lions for $10,000. I mean, so yeah. Can you imagine what the guys' contracts are? Dude, big money. All right. So I think we learned one thing today. By the way, Jason Cole's going to join us in a couple minutes. We'll get his thoughts on Diana Russini. Jason's a Hall of Fame voter. Diana Russini is a Hall of Fame voter, by the way. And Diana Russini votes on Player of the Year awards. What goes next? Okay? So as we said earlier, you guys couldn't answer. You couldn't answer the question on Kevin Patullo and what makes Sean Mannion and gives you hope that he's going to be a better play caller. And Reyes said, and Twiz and you guys said, because he played the position. Okay? You couldn't come up with any other way. I asked you what would make Jalen Hurts a better quarterback when in his entire 5 years starting, the unit has been one of the worst passing teams in pro football. Isn't it funny that A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, and to even some extent, Jalen has had some success when it comes to numbers. But as a unit, it's been terrible. The unit has been terrible. You can't dispute it. Since 2021, the unit has averaged being in the bottom 10 of the league when it comes to passing. Bottom 10. And when you've had to have the passing game carry the football team like you did a year ago, it couldn't do it because the quarterback is limited as a passer. Can't answer that. 2021, 29th as a unit. 22, excellent, 6th. 23 as a unit, 16th. 2024, 29th. 2025, 23rd. Bottom 10 of the National Football League for the last 5 years. that offensive passing attack has been one of the worst passing teams, if not the worst passing team of any contending football team in the NFL of all 32 teams. Explain that. Explain it. Explain it. Okay? Let me send Jason Cole. Remember, he is a businessman. Since 2021, the Philadelphia Eagle passing attack has been one of the worst passing attacks in all of pro football as a unit. Okay? Why? And in 5 years of starting, the passing team for the Eagles has been ranked 21st as an average out of 32 teams. Why? Okay, he'll be here in a minute. Limited skill set. Agreed. And you think they're going to turn this passing attack into some sort of high-end passing attack is insane when they've never had one as a group. They've never had one. Get this. Let's do this. I'll show you something here. Most receiving yards since 2021 list players. Here we go. A.J. Brown, 7th in receiving yards. Why is the team 29th every year as a unit? All right. Listen here, man. My friend, by the way, if you're ever in the Gainesville area, please do me a favor and get over to the Bagel Bakery. My friend is not only one of the most esteemed writers and also Hall of Fame voter, and he's been involved in this business forever. I know he doesn't like to go down this lane here, but I have to start the program out, and I wanted to get his thoughts. I didn't realize that Diana Russini would resign today from the New York Times / The Athletic. And he's been in this business, and he's seen it all. He is our dear friend, Jason Coley, joins us now here on the show. And, Jason, I appreciate you doing it. And, Jason, I know you don't want to go down this lane like this because this is kind of TMZ crap here a little bit. But just your takeaway, she decided to resign. You know, her contract was coming up in the summer here. And again, all of this stuff again and how it's hit over the last week. Your opinion, just the takeaways on what you've seen this story play out.
Look, if it's not true, I wish she should have. She would have stood her ground a little bit more. Maybe she found it untenable. Maybe it wasn't worth her time. You know, it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate. It's unfortunate, especially if it's not true. But it's unfortunate either way, because if it's true and she had a romantic relationship with him somehow, and she's denying it, and he's denying it too, then she didn't take her job seriously enough. And if it's not true, then the pressure and the celebrity got to her, and that's unfortunate as well. So I just look at it as it's a bad deal either way. It's a bad deal, especially for women reporters who, most of them, do a great job and are trying to do honest work, but get labeled all the time. And this is just going to be a further labeling of women reporters. And that's just it's just not fair. Like I know plenty of them, and I have some who have done some, questionable things. I've known far more who have not, and have, handled themselves with class and dignity overwhelmingly throughout their career.
What is shocking for me, Jason, is that her reputation has been impeccable almost. I know there was a conversation in DC a couple of years back about the former GM before Bruce Allen was there. I heard something there, but again,
Scott McLuhan. Yeah.
And I had heard some of that stuff, and to me, sometimes when you're a reporter, you want to fit in with the guys, this and that. And I don't know, man. I mean, I always found her work to be impeccable. I thought she was a really great
I do too. So it's just unfortunate. Either way that it happened, it's especially unfortunate if it's not true, because then somebody was driven out of the business simply based on rumors.
So I want you to help me on this. And you know what I love about you, Jace? You always set me straight. So yesterday there was a presser with Elliot Wolf.
Mm-hmm.
And nobody from the Boston Globe or the Boston Herald asked one question about this relationship. Not one. I looked at the transcript. Not one question was asked about this.
I mean, whoa, wait a sec. Was that okay? Be careful here, because the team controls the transcript.
Understood. Well, from what and from
I don't know. Yeah,
Mike Florio said that the only question asked about Vrabel was, how involved is Mike going to be in the draft coming up? To me, which means this, I think the public relations people with the Patriots went to people in the pit and said, Elliott's not fielding any questions about the Russini and the Vrabel. How would you?
Well, I mean, the other side of this is that they may be getting their answers elsewhere, right? So that, what's the point of asking? If I know I'm getting my answers from somebody else, why do I have to answer it? Why do I have to ask the question in a presser? So, to me, there have been plenty of times at pressers I didn't ask questions about, subjects that I already knew the answer to, because I didn't want to give anything away. And I didn't want to put, I didn't need to put anybody on the spot like that. So, I get it. I don't know all the circumstances.
Okay.
But it would seem strange that some radio station or TV station didn't ask. But again, I'm not sure how germane is this to Vrabel's job. I mean, it's germane to his personal life, but I don't think it's germane to his.
I don't know what this even has anything to do with football. I have no idea what this means here. But since it costs one person her job, do you think there's any fallout for Vrabel in this thing here, or no?
Well, I'm sure his wife's not real happy. So, I mean, you want to talk him. Look, if it affects his marriage and he ends up having a. Right. But I don't think it has anything to do with football. I don't think it has anything to do with Elliot Wolf. Elliot Wolf's not going to fire Mike Vrabel if he happened to have an affair. I mean, look, you played for Jimmy Johnson. Does Jimmy's personal life ever enter into anything that
I have no idea what you're talking about. I have no idea.
Yeah, right. Yeah. But all of a sudden, it's like, let's go dumb. Oh yeah, I don't know what.
Hey, Jace, remember Hogan, Cereals, and Schultz? I know nothing.
Yes,
I know nothing.
I know nothing. I don't know nothing.
Nothing.
I mean, when Sean Payton was going through a divorce and he ended up living, his wife ended up going back to Texas. Yeah, it made some headlines here and there, but it wasn't asked about very often. I mean, it's just, that kind of stuff, when it happens, generally as a reporter, if you work for a major outlet, you find your answer somewhere else. And here's the other thing. Elliot Wolf has no say over Mike Vrabel. Zero. None. He can't fire Mike Vrabel. And he has no authority to question Mike Vrabel. Anyway. The only person who has a chance to question Mike Vrabel and ask and to find out about what happened here or make any kind of judgment is Bob Kraft or Jonathan Kraft. Not even the other two Kraft brothers have any say over this. Those are the only guys who can talk about this one. Elliot's got nothing to do with it. And that's just the way it goes.
Wait, though. Okay. So before I clean my hands off with everything that I'm going to say here to you here, you ready here? All right. So
okay.
All
Are
right.
you going to tell me about Jimmy? You going to answer some questions about Jimmy?
No. I'm not going anywhere near that one. Believe me.
Yeah, you value that relationship, don't you?
Oh, you think? You think? Okay, so we've got the Bob Kraft massage parlor thing. We have the Vrabel now, whatever you want to call it. We've got the cheating scandals. We got Aaron Hernandez. Why does it always seem it's a little greasy when it comes to the Patriots? And it's like, I don't know. It's like, how come I have to take a shower every time after? And it always comes up Patriots. It's kind of like a culture there, isn't it?
I don't know. There's a lot of teams that
those are a lot of circumstances, don't you think?
Shall we go through the Cowboys? Shall we talk about let's just go to Dallas, baby. Shall we? Shall we go to Dallas? I'm not even talking. I ain't even talking about Jimmy.
No.
You want to talk about? Let's talk about paternity suits involving owners. Shall we?
No.
Shall we? Shall we talk about owners who run some fly routes? Yeah, let's talk about that. Okay, shall we talk about Hugh Culverhouse and go back to Tampa? Nah, don't think so. Go,
Stephen, you know what he says, Stephen.
Yeah. Let's talk about the Cowboys bus, shall we? Oh no.
No, my God, I've been on that thing. Listen, you think the commissioner gets involved in anything, or like you just said,
no,
this is a nothing burger to the league.
It means zip. Unfortunately, he's done nothing. He's done nothing wrong in the personal conduct policy. If he did anything wrong, it doesn't apply. Having an affair, or if that's what happened, is not the league's business. Even if it was with a reporter, and you think that he, if he gave away game plan information or some kind of secret that led to betting information, okay, that's a different thing. But I don't think that Mike Vrabel's that is that stupid. This is not the brightest thing in the world to ever do, but I don't think he's that dumb. Again,
you're giving us a little more credit than need be here. Guess what? When you're a football player, or football coach, I don't know. Sometimes you don't have clarity in things.
Well, we have. That's not the accusation. The accusation is that he's had an affair, not that he gave up further information. Now, if it progresses to that, sure. And this is a time when personal relationships have to be watched, because there is, if information that applies to gambling is involved, absolutely. But there's no indication of that. And is it fair that she has to pay with her job and he gets to skate along?
No.
That's the way it's not. It may not be fair, but that's just the reality of how it works.
That's exactly right.
All right. This is just, and that would be the problem of her putting herself in that position. So, I feel sorry for her, but this is the way it goes.
If you're the commissioner and all of a sudden AJ Brown does end up in New England,
Yeah.
Years and years ago, Bowie Kuhn stopped he was a former Major League Baseball commissioner back in the day, and he stopped the trade because there was some shaky things going on with the Yankees and Steinbrenner back in the day.
No, that's not why he stopped that. That's not why he stopped that trade.
It was the Vita Blue trade. Not the one, not the campaign contribution ones, not those.
No, I'm talking about the ones where the A's were selling off, and but see,
Vita Blue was supposed to go to the Yankees. Instead, he went to the Giants.
Right, but the reason that he stopped that trade had more to do with Charlie Finley selling off his team, and that had a competitive.
Yep.
Yeah,
That's right.
he had Catfish Hunter, he had Vita Blue, he had Sal Ben Joe Rudy. I mean, he had a bunch of great players, and he didn't want to pay any of them. And he decided to trade everybody for nothing. And Bowie Kuhn stepped in and said, "No, you can't do this. You can't just create a minor league organization just because you don't want to pay people. That's not how you operate." Well, of course he did that. And he succeeded because they were terrible. This is one of the reasons why people forget how great the A's were from 72 to 74. That's one of the greatest teams. It's an amazing team that Charlie Finley and his GM put together. It was an amazing team, and he tore it all down and ripped the heart out of the Oakland A's fans. Then and there, and it took him a long time before they were ever relevant again. He had to get rid of the team.
Yep, absolutely here. So do you don't think there's going to be anything here with any kind of ramifications at all, that this is just a TMZ story? And actually, the NFL actually embraces stuff like this. They make, content.
I don't know. Look, I don't think they necessarily embrace it. Let's not overstate it. I just think that they realize, look, you got a couple thousand people who work in your organization. It ain't always going to be, it ain't always going to be pretty. And look, there are a lot of teams out there that there's a lot of stuff that happens that doesn't see the light of day. Let's just say that.
I think most people I think they'd be shocked if they knew all the stuff that goes on behind the scenes with some of these teams. A couple more questions here, Jace. So
Sure.
Ruben Bain was caught in a situation about a year and a half ago, and I knew about this.
Mm-hmm.
And he was in a situation where a person died in the car. There were two teammates in the car. This was his sophomore year, right after his sophomore year. How much does stuff like that, when it comes out 9 days before the draft, how much do you think this stuff is planted? Does it have any influence? What do you think that kind of does when it comes to the draft? I mean, the timing obviously seems like this was put out there by somebody, because this was all the teams know this already. They know this story. Does it have any impact?
But I mean, I think Ruben Bain, whether he goes up or down in the draft based on this, or not up, but certainly if he goes down in the draft based on this, it's mostly that's already happened before the news broke. Now, can you say that it's some team planted this in order to get him to drop a few places because they want to get him? Or is it what happens a lot of the time, which is, one scout's talking to a reporter and talking about this and that, and and says something off the cuff like, the Bain situation. It's like, well, what's a Bain situation? Oh, you didn't know? He had, he goes in a car accident, kid died, It's sort of like, Kellen Winslow Jr. had a situation when he was in high school, right? And he beat the crap out of some kid, and he owed him a bunch of money if he ever turned pro. Okay, well, that eventually came out, at a certain point. And was that intention to drop his draft status? No, I don't think so. It just came out at a certain point. In this one, there can be a little bit of nefarious, but it also can be, this is the time when reporters are catching up on a lot of stuff that the NFL already knows about. In other words, we're trying to find out the information that the NFL already knows about these guys to figure out what will or won't affect their draft status. So you start asking more and more questions, especially about high draft picks like this guy. And you're trying to find out, is there anything like this? And sometimes it spills out. That's just the way it goes. So I don't think this is going to have an effect on Bain's draft status. I mean, it's a tragic thing, but I don't think,
No.
he didn't do something. He did something gross and negligent, but he didn't do anything. He wasn't trying to hurt somebody.
By the way, the family has, endorsed the kid moving forward in his life. For when Betts died, okay, I mean, they came out publicly and said, we wish him nothing but the best. It was a tragic situation. So they actually have
it's terrible. I mean, they may be doing that in their own way because they get some kind of settlement. I have no idea.
Yeah.
Again, in the case of Winslow, Winslow case, there was the kid from high school got more money depending on how much more Winslow made. But I'm not saying that that's the case in this one. But again, I don't think, based on what I can see, this was an accident. This was an awful tragedy. This is not
no alcohol.
This is not somebody. This is not somebody being belligerent and awful to another human being and doing something that intentionally put their life in jeopardy.
Last one here for you, Jace. Little birdie told me something about the Hall of Fame coming up. You tell me if you heard this too.
Okay.
Are they gonna go to in-person voting, where you guys have to be in person?
We're gonna have a meeting in Atlanta next year. That's the schedule. So I don't think that's any big news. It'd be nice to see everybody in one place. Zoom? Yeah, since certainly since COVID, there was one year where we were supposed to get together in person. I think it was 2 years ago or 3 years ago, and there was a winter storm that canceled all the flights into Atlanta. So, the Hall of Fame took a bath on that one financially, but they want to do it again. They want to they think it's better to have the meeting in person. I wouldn't argue with them on that one. So, yeah, we're supposed to. The other thing is, I don't think this is a big deal, but they're going to have it closer to the announcement so that they can try and keep the news under wraps better. And and that's a good thing too, because I don't think it's great when the news gets out before. Yeah, I mean, so but that's just procedural stuff. I mean, I don't see that as I don't see that doesn't markedly change the voting. Like, what we need to see happen is we need to see a change in the format, and that we haven't heard about that yet. And so we'll see if they change the format. That's what I hope that they will do before we get to next year. But I think they have a meeting. They have a board meeting that comes up in the next couple of months at the Hall of Fame, where the people who run the Hall of Fame make those decisions.
I got one last one here. A fan wants to ask you a question. You think Zach Ertz, fifth all time in receptions for tight ends? You think Zach Ertz is a Hall of Fame type consideration?
Deserves consideration, and I wish he would make the Hall of Fame. I mean, he's a Stanford guy, so I cheer for guys like that. But
me too.
I don't think so. We have Travis Kelce coming up, right? We have Jason Witten on the ballot already. Was Zach Ertz as good as Jason Witten? I don't think so. Does that necessarily mean that he doesn't make the Hall of Fame? No, he can still make the Hall of Fame even if he's not as good as Jason Witten.
You think Ertz is better than Jimmy Graham? I don't. Maybe compatible.
They're pretty much the same guy. I think that Ertz has played longer at this highest level. Like, when Jimmy Graham was fully healthy at his highest level, he is a better player than Zach Ertz. But Zach Ertz, over a longer period of time, sustained a high level and made more impactful plays, such as the touchdown. So I would take, if you're asking me whose career I would take, I would take Zach Ertz's career over Jimmy Graham's career, but I mean that's a good comp. You know,
Yeah.
Graham was probably a slightly better,
He was a
like
better player, but
twitch.
it didn't go as long.
Right. It was, well, I mean, he's a better, like, I mean, neither one of them's a great blocker. Zach's probably a slightly better blocker.
Yeah.
More willing. Graham certainly was not a willing blocker, especially the later in his career as he got. But he had that size, and he was, like he was a power forward. He was a power forward in college at the
He didn't
U.
even play college football barely at Miami.
Yeah, and so, it's interesting, but I would take Zach Ertz's career slightly over Jimmy, and I like Jimmy. I think he's a really good player.
Yep.
But neither one of them's Hall of Famer.
Folks, make sure if you're in the Gainesville area, you go to 4113 Northwest 16th Boulevard, Gainesville, Florida, for the
all you Eagles fans. I got them all there. I got them all. Bring them in. Yeah, a lot of Eagles fans. I told you, had a guy in a Harold Carmichael jersey coming in the other day. There you go.
There you go. Jason, thank you, my friend. I appreciate you always finding time for me, man.
All right, dude. Be good.
You got it. That is Jason Cole, our good friend, man. Yeah, listen, I agree with him. I think Ertz did it longer. Jimmy Graham was a better ball player. But Zach Ertz was more consistent than what Jimmy was. I think those two guys, listen, I could see both those two guys getting in eventually down the line. Okay, here, let me take a look at something here real quick before. Let me see something here. Let me see Jimmy Graham. Jimmy Graham. I know I believe Jimmy Graham's got a Super Bowl too, if I'm not mistaken. So Jimmy Graham played 13 years. He's got 8,545 and 719 catches. How many Pro Bowls did he make? Let's see. 5 Pro Bowls. That's exceptional. He's a 5-time Pro Bowler. 5-time Pro Bowler. 11, 13, 14, 16, and 17 when it mattered. Let me take a look at Ertz. Zach Ertz. And listen, by the way, I think Zach's a hell of a player. He's got more catches. 825, but the yards are the same, 85-92. He's got, let's see here. Let me go back. Graham had what in catches? 85-45 and had 89 touchdowns. Way more touchdowns than Zach Ertz. Way more. Yeah, way more. That's pretty comparable, man, those two guys. I think Zach only had 57 touchdowns. Yeah, he had 57 TDs. Graham had almost 90 touchdowns. And he's got 40 more yards. I'll tell you what, if Zach Ertz, he's 35 years old, he's never going to get to 10,000 receiving yards. 825 catches is a lot, though. Had 1,000 yards one season. I think Graham had it. How many times did Jimmy Graham had 1,000 yards? 2. So, yeah. And counting the playoffs, he had over 100 TDs. I mean, you could even make the comment that he had a better career than Jason Witten. Close. All right, guys, tomorrow, Battle Royale. By the way, Adam Kaplan's joining us on Thursday. That's just been confirmed. Appreciate each and every single one of you. Thank you very much. Do me a favor. Please hit that like button, and we shall see you on the flip side.